All right. Turn that up a little bit. Test, test, test. All right, that sounds pretty good. Or wait, a little bit more. Test, test, test. Hello, Twitch. Hello, hello to you. And good evening. Currently, it is just shy of 9 p.m. on a Thursday. And wanted to say thank you so much for joining me on tonight's stream session. My name is Philip, and I am a certified flight instructor down here in Los Angeles, and having a really great time bringing ground school and simulator sessions to the Twitch streaming space, and providing a little uniqueness when it comes to content on the order of providing aviation education to the avid Microsoft flight sim and X-Plane streamers. This channel, if you're new to the channel, this is definitely for you, whether you are a private pilot or a student pilot, an aspiring pilot. Maybe one day you want to take some lessons, or if you're fine, just staying on the simulator, which is totally cool too. No matter what our walks of life, this channel is definitely for you, because what my goal is on this channel is to share with you my experience and my knowledge that I've accumulated over about 10 years flying now, and instructing for the past 2 years, and doing ground instruction for the past under a advanced ground instructor certificate for the past 5 or 6 years, maybe 7 years. Bringing that experience, what experience I can bring to you, and to help you understand what is going on maybe a little bit better with the flying that you're doing, whether you're flying in real life or in the simulator. And a little bit more of an appreciation for what we're doing in the simulator. And worst case scenario, you watch this channel, you learn some really cool things about flying that makes your simulator experience a little more enjoyable. And absolute best case scenario, this stream motivates you to maybe go to your local airport someday and take a demo flight for $100, $120 in a 152 or a 172 or a Piper Warrior or whatever, and get your flight training going. So and I'm here for you for anything in between. And feel free to private message me with any questions, or if you'd like some tutoring or anything like that, any sort of help that I can lend you. I'm definitely here, and a few of you have already written in, and I really appreciate that. And here to help. One of my favorite things to do is mentor. I know, like, for me, mentoring, my mentors have changed my life, and I really like to do that as well. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I also wanted to encourage you, if this sounds like an interesting channel, give that a follow button a press, and then even more so, all this information I bring to you free, and with that great cost and time and money of my own to bring that experience to you. And so I would be so grateful if you could hit that subscribe button and help keep the channel going. That would be awesome. We stream, or I stream Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and the occasional Friday. And so, this is all Brick. Thank you so much for the sub. Thank you. So incredible. So incredible. What I'm trying to do is bring the ground school to the Twitch streaming space regularly, with IFR Tuesdays, where we discuss the instrument rating and instrument flight rules, and all things instrument. We do some instrument flying as well, but really focus on the private pilot and just the basics, because really what it's about is mastering the basics. And so I give great attention to the private pilot Wednesday, Thursday, and on Fridays, with ground school and sim Wednesdays, flying skills Thursdays, which is what today is, and then trying to go for like a fun Friday where it's maybe airman certification standards or DCS fighter pilot stuff. Lots of different, ask me anything, just chatting stuff. So yeah, definitely give that a follow and a subscribe. Would really appreciate it. Thanks again, Brick. So today is Flying Skills Thursday, and I'm really excited about this one. We're gonna hop in the sim shortly, but I wanted to go over the agenda and what what I have proposed. Long story short, I have lost a VOR review for us, and then we're going to hop in the sim for lost procedures and diversion procedures, and what to do if you don't know where you are, or if you do know where you are and you need to land. Something's going on and you need to divert, maybe due to bad weather or something. How do we collect our bearings and get to a place that is an unplanned place? Ideally with your flight planning, you have pilotage checkpoints along your route that are airports, and so you build that into your plan. But not all things go according to plan, even if that were the case, and you might find yourself in a situation where diversion to an unplanned airport is actually prudent, and it's important to know how to do that. This week, whether it was the instrument approaches on Tuesday or the VOR PowerPoint and workshop and sim work that we were doing yesterday, and then today with lost procedures and diversions, the theme is VORs and utilizing radio navigation to do certain things. So it goes without saying that if your aircraft is equipped with a GPS, yeah, it takes less than a second to know where you are, or where the nearest thing is, or how long it's going to take you to get to a place, or how much fuel, or what the distance is and what the time is. Anybody can do that. Anybody can go into a GPS unit, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's not what I'm getting at. If that is equipment in your, first of all, not all airplanes are equipped like that, but if that isn't a piece of equipment in your airplane, handle it. We're all about workload management and doing that. So let's let's be honest, go ahead and do that. But if you are, what we're presupposing tonight is that we do not have that. The airplane will be equipped with GPS tonight, but we're just going to stick to the VORs. That's the theme for the week. So utilizing the VORs for loss procedures and diversion procedures. Okay, so let's with that, let's hop into the agenda and just kind of brief ourselves before we go fly, and then I'll set up the sim here. Okay, so I gotta figure out like why these stupid things pop up anytime I try and use X-Plane. Pretty annoying. Pretty annoying, if I do say so myself. Okay, so what is the agenda for tonight? The agenda is we're going to open up that VOR lesson that I had last night and just kind of touch on a few of the core concepts and just kind of get our mind right about certain things in case you didn't see last night's ground school and sim where we worked through the VORs from a few different angles, and just kind of refresh our memory on what we mean by VOR navigation. Finally, loss procedures will be discussed after the VOR review. We're going to come to the loss procedures and discuss how to get yourself unlost by in terms of each of the three methods of navigation. That is from pilotage, from a pilotage standpoint and looking outside and relating what we see outside to a chart of some kind, from a dead reckoning standpoint in terms of the calculations maybe that we're going into this flight with perhaps a VFR navlog that we put together by hand, and so we're going to have a bunch of calculations for time, distance, and fuel between points that we want to consult in order to kind of help us understand where we are. And then finally, what we'll be focusing on tonight is, especially mainly because we don't have a VFR navlog, is the electronic means of getting unlost, which, of course, GPS, like, look at the picture, okay? But if we're using a VOR, then we have some stuff that we want to do and make sure that we do these things in the right order. Kind of in the same vein, along the same lines of doing things in the right order, is the diversion procedures, which we'll go over after that as well, and just the series of steps that we need to take. Okay, so first let's hop into the PowerPoint for the VOR procedures, or what we mean by VOR. Okay, cool. And like I said last night, I know this says the instrument rating, but it really doesn't matter. This is like good stuff for even for the private pilot when it comes to VOR navigation. Okay, so we said that a VOR station does not care what your heading is, because all it knows is your position with respect to the station. That's all that it knows. The way that it knows your position with respect to the station is that it measures the phase between two pulses that are sent out from the station. And the first pulse is an omnipulse that's sent out in all directions. And the second pulse is a rotating one that it follows shortly behind the omnipulse. Now, the instrument measures that distance, and it says, between those two waves, and it says, if this is the distance, only north of the station are these things are the waves behaving like this. Only north, or only southeast of the station are the waves behaving like this. So, like, for example, only north of the station are those lines right on top of each other. So if the receiver picks up both waves at the exact same time, basically, then it recognizes that you are on what we say the 360 radial. The radials are 360 degrees of lines of magnetic bearing that are being sent out in all directions. So we can tune into the 360 radial. And if the receiver is picking up both of those peaks at the same time, then that line is going to be centered, because only on that 360 radial are the waves behaving as the instrument is picking it up. If the wave peaks are such that the spacing indicates that you are southeast of the field of the station, then the instrument will reflect that, and it does so by the way that the information is presented on this instrument here. We've got the compass card around here, or we have the card with 360 degrees on it that can be rotated using the OBS knob. And what we're doing when we rotate that card around and put a number up in the top there, like if we rotated this around and we put the 6 up at the top, we would be saying, okay, if we were headed 060, where would we be with respect to the selected course? And the instrument would say, well, if you were headed 060, that line, you're either on the line, or the line is, or the line is, off to your left, or whatever it is. And whether you are on the to or the from side of the line that runs perpendicular to that selection. So we took a look at what that to and from flag actually means in the workshop last night after the lecture. So it does not tell you if you were headed to or from the station. What it tells you, and it does not tell you if the station is ahead of you or behind you or whatever. What it's saying is what it is actually telling you is, based on the selection that you have in the top there, what side of the to from line are you of that selection. Okay, so That's important to know. That's important to know. These dots show error in 2-degree increments, by the way. So, yeah, what we're trying to do is, if we have this selection up at the top and that needle is drifting off to the side, showing you that the course that you want is off to the side somewhere, what we want to do is fly a heading somewhere on the side where the needle is deflected. We want to fly a heading in there somewhere, usually a 45-degree angle, where that heading will actually put us on a course to intercept that line. And as we fly that heading and come closer and closer to the desired course, as we fly that heading and we come closer and closer to that desired course, and that course starts coming in, that needle will actually come in centered more and more and more. And when that needle is centered, yeah, you want to start rolling out, or as the needle starts becoming centered, you want to roll out on that heading. Assuming that there's no wind, you want to roll out on that heading to maintain that centered needle, and then you're good to go. So that we'll look at that in the sim. All right. Now, the way that we use the VOR is we make sure that it's in that the frequencies here are in nav mode. We tune into the appropriate VOR station frequency based on what we see on the chart. We identify that the station is working correctly by listening to the Morse code, and we make sure that in the case of a glass panel like this, that the source is correct. That like right here we see that the source is magenta, the GPS is sourced right now. What we want to do is change that from GPS to VOR if we're using the VOR, right? And then once that's on the VOR mode, we can input the desired course, right? It's a little bit different case, something very similar though, if we use a GPS unit where we can tune we could push that for the nav frequencies in the case of the GTN 650 anyway, and the 750. The nav frequencies, we can dial that in, big knob, small knob, for big number, little number, and switch that in, identify it using the mic comm right there, make sure nav 1 is selected, and we listen to that whole Morse code. Again, the Morse code is on the chart. We want to make sure that we're listening to the whole Morse code. And then selecting the source by going back, selecting default nav, and then pressing CDI to change that from GPS to VOR. Then we can use the knob down there to change the course. Same thing for the G1000. It's just located differently up in the top. Changing the frequency there, switching it over, identifying it. Source is the CDI button right there. You can switch between nav 1, nav 2, and GPS, and then tuning the course right there. Same thing for the analog setup. There's our nav frequency on standby, turning the knob right there to the desired frequency. Switch that in, press nav 1 to identify, and then use the OBS knob to rotate that card around, put the desired selection up at the top, and then turn to the heading that actually intercepts that course. So what are we talking about when we say to intercept? Okay. Well, in this case, we've got 360 selected. We need to go to the right, and we're headed 360 as well. Remember, the first rule with using the VORs is you want your course and your heading to be either exactly the same or something super similar, like maybe because of wind, you're like 10 degrees off or something like that. But, they're essentially the same. You don't want the opposite. You wouldn't have a heading of 360 and a selection of 180. You wouldn't have that. So 360, you got the course off to the right there because you have 360 selected. You're heading 360. Turn to a 45-degree intercept. Bring that needle in centered, and then boom, roll out on heading. And then stay that heading, or, remain on that heading to stay the course. If there is wind, you might need to crab the airplane a little bit, at which case, in this example, a 10-degree wind correction is suitable with a heading of 350 in order to track 360 on the selection. Notice that there's a 2 arrow because we are on the to side of the dotted line. Crossing the fix, we would have, or the VOR, we would have a from indication. This is the from side. In terms of this selection, of 360. This is the from side. That's the to side. Okay. We can intercept and track. Not only that, but we can utilize a second VOR to pinpoint our location. This will come in. Will be invaluable when we are talking about loss procedures, especially, and pinpointing our location utilizing triangulation from 2 VORs. This is exactly what we'll be doing. Brick, would you? Good evening, sir. By the way. I keep reading Rick James but Brick rhymes. It's a tough one. Would you start cold-blooded? Would you start your rollout ahead of time, or do you wait till you are on it? So I will roll out. I will start my turn as the needle is coming in, so that I roll wings level on a centered needle. Now, here's the thing: is like if I'm tracking something and I want to go on a different airway, I actually do cross the fix. I do fully cross. It's a play on Rick Grimes. You can just call me Brick. Cool, sounds good, Brick. If I'm crossing an intersection to get onto a different airway, I actually do cross the intersection, and I come back around to fly the intercept, and I fly a heading to re-intercept the airway. So that's just me personally. Some people they teach turning early so that you never cross it. I don't think it's that big of a deal. You don't go over it by that much, and I don't think it's that big of a pain in the ass, honestly. I would rather make sure that I actually did cross the fix and make it 2 centered needles before I do anything else. I just think that there's the potential for some error if you don't let the needle close all the way. I don't know. There's going to be a time when you may be, I don't know. I just like kind of totally making sure, like definitively, like in this case, like if I was this pilot right here and I wanted to actually get on this new line, I would make sure that these were both centered, and then I'm going to turn to the southwest, and then I'm going to switch up my VOR1 and VOR2 for tracking for that new one. So, going back to this really quick. So, VOR1 we use for primary navigation, intercepting and tracking, and VOR2 we use for cross radials. In the case for loss procedures, like it's fine to use both for cross radials because we don't know where we are, right? So, it's fine. And one of the second rule, right? The first rule of using a VOR we said was you want to make sure that your heading and your course selection are roughly the same, if not the same. But the rule number 2, assuming that rule has been adhered to, the second rule is same side safe. Same side safe says that for a given selection, that if your heading is on the same side as the deflected needle, then you are safe. And you are safe from what? You're safe from having crossed it and not realize that it's actually behind you, right? So looking at this first case right here, the pilot is same side safe. First of all, they're tracking, VOR1 is tracking the 090 radial out from this station right here, and they're interested in identifying an intersection that is where this line and that line intersect, and that line coming from the second VOR seems to be on a 150. So the pilot has put in 150 in the VOR2 since they're interested in that cross radial. And the question is, are they same side safe? Their heading is 090. 090 is right here. It's on the same side as the deflected needle. The pilot is safe, right? So, notice that it says from. This is a 150 from the station. That's not saying that this pilot is headed away from the station. What it's saying is, here's for a 150 selection. Let me put my my cat toy on. For a 150 selection, this line right here is the to from line. Remember, the to from line is perpendicular to the selection. So if we are on the from side, we're on the from side of this selection. We are right there, right? This is all from. This is all to up here. So again, this is saying if you were headed 150, where would you be with respect to the course? If you rotated that plane and you made that southwest, yeah, the course would be off to your left. That's why that's left deflection. Some knowledge test questions for my instrument students. All good. Finally, testing the VOR. The VOR test is the most accurate test. And what you're going to do is go to the chart supplement, which is this green book right here, and go to the table of contents to find the VOR receiver checkpoints and VOR test facilities pages. Find your state and your airport. Excuse me. Ooh. And once you've found your airport, you'll tune into the appropriate frequency for the test. They're done on the ground. All of these are done on the ground. And if there are any remarks, what they're probably going to tell you is where the specific locations at your airport that you must, where you must be to do this VOT test. Not all airports have restrictions. Like you'll notice Torrance has no remarks right here. So yeah, that's a good thing to be aware of. You also have all these different ways of testing your VOR. Testing your VOR is not legally required for VFR operation, visual flight rules operation. But if you're IFR and intend to use your VOR as primary means of navigation, really at all, like if you're IFR, it's very clear. It says if you are operating IFR, the VOR must have been tested within the past 30 days. So, you need to have conducted at least one of these tests. And in somewhere, note the location, the errors, your signature, and the date, of course, so. Okay. Okay. Nice VOR refresher there. Now, lost procedures. What to do if you are lost. If you are a student pilot, it will likely happen to you, depending on where you actually are. But, I mean, it is likely that at some point you might get turned around. You might miss a checkpoint, you might, have a really bad processing heading indicator. Or maybe you didn't pull that knob out all the way or whatever, and the heading indicator has not been turning, and you've been on the wrong heading for quite some time, so, and now you don't know where you are. You should be coming up to a very prominent landmark in 10 or 15 seconds, and it's nowhere to be found, and you're like, why? And, you're probably going to go over that part for, that wait on that because you're in denial a little bit, and you're probably going to be going past it by another minute or so before you're like, dude, where is this thing? I got to do something, right? You should have done something way before. So what do you do when you're lost? We try and attack this from a multitude of perspectives. Okay, and the first one, using the 3 methods of navigation, are pilotage, dead reckoning, and electronic means of navigation. So looking at pilotage, like we said, is the method of navigation where we're looking outside, looking at a chart, and comparing what we see outside to what we see on this chart. Prominent landmarks, big bridges, power plants, refineries maybe, or smokestacks, huge parks, airports, obviously, stadiums, things that especially that are on a chart that are marked as established VFR checkpoints. You want to be familiar with those in your area. Look outside. That is what's going on. If you're lost, one of the first things you want to do is just look outside and see what's around you. First thing you want to do is power back and enter a gentle 360, where you don't want to just keep going off into the distance, because if you're lost and you're headed in the wrong direction, you don't want to be headed in the wrong direction more, right? Just take a second, power back, slow the airplane down, not too slow slow the airplane down. You don't need to be doing 140 knots, right? Slow the airplane down to 90, or if you're doing 90, slow it down to 80. If you're doing 100, slow it down to 80. Enter a gentle, shallow bank. And obviously, when you're working through this, keep an eye on the airplane. Look around, like I said, to establish some landmarks. And if you're having a hard time finding stuff, and if the airspace around you in general like permits it, then you can climb for a better view of what's around you. Don't just start climbing right away, because what you definitely don't want to do is accidentally climb into a Bravo shelf or a Class Charlie shelf or something where you're actually in the way. You're actually in the way of some arrivals that are coming in or whatever. You're like, I'm lost. I need to see where I am. I'm going to climb because I'm the only person in the air. And it's like, no, So be vigilant, if you're able to and airspace permits it, and if you need to, go ahead and climb. It's also better for communication or VOR reception. It's not a bad idea. And try and put the pieces together. If you're in a radar environment, don't hesitate to ask the approach and the center controller to help locate you as well. There's like a local frequencies on your chart for your approach or your center controllers. Handle that. Utilizing dead reckoning. We're looking at this VFR nav log that we put together for this cross country that you should have put together by hand. You've done these calculations. The whole thing that was the tip off that something was wrong was presumably you had a checkpoint that you should have had coming up with after a known period of time because of some calculations that you made to heading, time, distance, and fuel between points right along your route. So presumably it was because of this of something not adding up that you're like, wait a minute, I should have been over this point like 45 seconds ago. Like, what's the story, right? Or 2 minutes ago. So what you're going to do is backtrack. You're going to say, okay, what heading? Oh shit, I'm off my heading. Okay, well, what heading am I on? What heading was I on? You want to compare the heading that you were on with the calculated compass heading. If you were off your heading and you should have been on a different heading, it's like how off on the wrong heading. How off were you? Was the angle huge or was it not that big? The other thing is, how much time have you been on that wrong heading? How much time has gone by? Turn that volume down a little bit. I feel like I'm yelling. How much time has gone by? With a shallow angular difference between the heading you should have been on and the heading you were on, and a long time, you could be appreciably off away from your checkpoint, even though the angle is small. And just because the angle is big doesn't necessarily mean that, all hope is lost if it's only been, a minute or so, So the time definitely plays a role in your speed, right? If you know how much time has gone by since your last checkpoint and you know what heading you were on and you know how fast you were going, the distance that you are now off from that last checkpoint. That distance, so you can roughly start putting the pieces together and see approximately where are you. It's good enough for an approximation, right? How much time are you overdue for your next checkpoint? How long have you been flying on that heading since your previous checkpoint, like I said? And then once you know generally where you are, let's get back to where we should be. You should have you should have a now that you know where you are, there should be a distance away that you can measure back to where you want to go. You should be able to choose a heading and derive a distance for getting back to some recognizable landmark or something to get back on track. You need to work out the distance back to get back on track, and then the time and the that it's going to take you to get there. Based on that time, do you have the fuel to get back to where you want to go, or is it better to just divert to an airport? Now that's usually utilizing dead reckoning, and if you have a VFR nav log, utilizing those calculations to get to where you want to go. Electronic navigation is what we're concentrating on today, and really emphasizing the use of the VOR to figure out where we're going to go. We're actually going to use a combination of pilotage and VOR navigation, because we're going to find out where we are, and then, get to a place. Maybe we're low on fuel and we need to get to an airport that is that has a VOR on the field, or maybe we just identify where we are with a VOR, and we keep track of where we're at using cross radials from a distant VOR as we fly a proposed heading to our airport or something like that. So I'm hoping for, let's see. Yeah, I'm hoping for some viewers to come in the room as we fly, and we can go get lost in their neck of the woods. But for now, we'll do that. We'll do that in my area. We'll actually maybe go out someplace where it looks really bad, where pilotage is really, really tough. All right. So if we're talking about VORs for electronic and if we're talking about VORs for getting ourselves back on track, we use triangulation from at least 2 different VORs, and that is probably one of the best ways to go about it, unless you're using GPS, obviously. Triangulation was what we did yesterday, actually, in the workshop. Some of what we did in the workshop, where we used 2 VORs, 2 centered needles, and with from indications to determine where we were, because 2 centered CDIs, from 2 different VORs with from indications, that is where you actually are. So that's super useful. Once you've got both of those VORs with their needles centered, once you've got both of those VORs centered, and you now know what 2 radials you're on, you can go to your chart and roughly find yourself, go trace those lines out from the center of the VOR station on the chart, go out on that radial, and see where, from both stations, and see where those 2 lines intersect. And that's basically where you are. So the one thing I'll say about using the VOR is you're likely going to be kind of freaking out because you're lost, right? So don't forget the proper VOR techniques, where you need to properly tune the frequency. You don't want to be freaking out and then accidentally tune into the wrong frequency, start twisting the OBS for a centered needle, and you don't even know what's going on. You tuned into the wrong VOR, and now you're like way more lost, So yeah, don't forget to tune properly, identify that station that it's working, and be present. Okay, so that's loss procedures from a pilotage, dead reckoning, and electronic standpoint. We'll be utilizing triangulation in the practice area to determine where we are at any given time, and I'll show you that on the chart. In fact, I think I'll hold off on utilizing my tablet so you guys can't see where we are, and we'll just pull up SkyVector and show where we're at. Now, diversion is something different. It's not too far different, it's not too far removed, but loss procedures and diversion procedures, although there are similarities, they are different. Loss procedures, really what we're trying to do is just understand where we are. We're not trying to drift off too far. We're trying to understand where we are so that we can be aware of airspace around us and continue on maybe our own navigation, and to where we need to go. The diversion can happen for any number of reasons. We may know exactly where we are, but we need to divert and go to a different airport because weather at our destination is so bad, or maybe there's a passenger on board that's having a hard time, like a seizure or something, or we're having some mechanical, electrical issues, like we're having, some alternator issues, or maybe we've got a bad mag, and the engine's running rough, and we're on one magneto, and, we have to figure that out. Maybe we have minimum fuel. So here's what we're gonna do. We're like the lost procedures. We're gonna power back. We're gonna enter a gentle 360 so we don't keep drifting off into some unknown space. Because change of plans now, right? We're not going to where our original destination was. We need a change of plans here. We're going to, assuming that you know where you are, and you're able to, you know where you are and what airspace is around you. And also assuming that an immediate landing is not necessary, like a forced landing, like on the ground or something. You want to look to your chart and find a suitable runway, a suitable airport that's, close enough for you to be able to land relatively quickly. Once you have that diversion airport selected, we can determine the magnetic. We need to determine what magnetic heading to fly, based on your current location. And what I mean by that really is it's a magnetic course. What magnetic course to fly? Should change that. The heading implies that you know what wind correction angle to fly. So we have to determine what magnetic course to fly. Okay. How do we determine what magnetic course to fly? Well, you can do that in a number of different ways. If you're using a paper chart for your navigation, you can take a pen or even your finger or a straight edge of some kind. Figure out where based on where you are at, where is the line? Where's the straight line between you and where you need to go? Keep that line and superimpose that on a compass rose that might be nearby. Maybe utilizing a compass rose that's on a VOR. This is what I mean by a compass rose. Like, let me go out to a place where you can see it more clearly. See this right here around the 29 Palms VOR, this circle? That's a compass rose. So what you can do is if I want to go from cross, or what is this, 29 Palms to Yucca Valley, okay, I'm gonna draw a straight line I'm gonna measure a straight line from those two airports, and then I'm gonna superimpose that line onto this VOR right here, and I'm gonna read off the magnet. This is in magnetic. These courses. This is why it's like a weird angle. There's a 12-degree difference right here, and where I'm from, 12 degrees difference between true north and magnetic north. So this is like off kilter a little bit. So with that line superimposed on this compass rose, you can read it's roughly a 250 or a 255 magnetic that you want to fly, and the magnetic course is good enough, and then take a wind assessment, like where's the wind coming from. You can alter your magnetic course as needed for wind, obviously, but this would be a good one, actually, depending on where you're at it, to just track outbound from the VOR to Yucca Valley. So that's it's close enough there. But point is that is what you're able to do. Like, for example, if you wanted to go to Chiriaco Summit to Desert Center, that line right there, you would take that line, straight line, that on a straight edge or a plotter or a pencil, superimpose that onto this VOR right here, and measure. That's about a 050 maybe, or a 060 maybe. Actually, it looks like a 060. So you'd fly if you're over here at Chiriaco and you're like, okay, what heading should I fly? Well, 060 as a magnetic course is good enough for now, okay? And that's how you determine that. The other way is if you've got a tablet, you could just go find a direct to on there. This is basically a GPS, right? So you can find your magnetic course actually a number of different ways on using a tablet. So yeah, determine your magnetic course from your current location. The very first step, once you know where you're going, where you are, where you're going, and what that magnetic course is, you turn onto that magnetic, you turn to that heading, you turn to that course, and you start heading off in that direction. Then you get to work on other things. With your you measure your right? You turn toward that magnetic heading, and then work out the rest, which we will do today in the on the E6B. Let me see if that. We'll see if that works later. Once you've turned to your magnetic heading, you need to measure the distance on between where you're at and where you're going. And if you're using a paper tack chart, cool rule of thumb is the width of a hand, generally speaking, is 10 miles. And if it's a sectional chart, then the width of a hand is 20 miles. It depends on obviously how wide your hand is, but generally speaking, it's like either going to be 8 miles then or 11 miles, something like that, where it's a good enough approximation. The distance is then measured. And of course, if you have a plotter handy, like go use your plotter and you can really nail that distance. With your distance known, you can take that E6B calculator out, whether it's the rotary one or the electronic one, and you can, and with your ground speed known, you can determine the time to your destination airport. You know the where you're going, you know the length of that line, you know the distance, you know your speed, you can determine the time that it's going to take you to get there. So once your time is known, you can use the E6B and the fuel and the known fuel consumption rate of your aircraft to determine how much fuel that diversion will require, and do you have the fuel to do it? Don't just go off toward that airport and then hope for the best. We need to understand, like, if this is 50 miles away and you don't have the fuel for that, we need a plan B. We are not going to make it, right? So we need to factor that in and keep working. We can't just not keep working. Captain Seppi, hello. I'm doing great. How are you doing? Thank you very much for asking. We're doing VOR review, loss procedures, and diversion procedures. We're just coming up to the end of the briefing. We're going to hop in the sim, get to it. Let's see here. I think the correction is needed on step 3. Oh, assuming you know what you are. What am I? I am a human being. I'm a human being, goddammit. Thank you very much, Brick. Very good. Very good. Captain, doing well. Good to hear it. Good to hear it, man. You'll be happy to know that the kitties are doing well. I visited them. I now know where they are, where the house is that they're staying at. It's very nice. I met the owner that's like brought them in. They were feral. They were stray. And the kittens, there's like kittens everywhere. She like had 2 litters, and so I got his number. We're gonna like they don't have a lot of money to like get the cat like fixed. They need some help like with food, and they didn't ask me for help, but I'm like, dude, give me the number for the Zelle. I'll totally split that with you. I'm gonna go pick up some wet food for them tomorrow, maybe some toys for the little babies, and it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be super nice. So, kitties, say hi. Okay, so let's get to it. Let's get to it. It's Flight Skills Thursday, is it not? Let's get in the airplane. Oh, you know what? And I'm going to set that up actually real quick. Let me know if you have any questions, by the way, about diversion or loss procedures. Brick, I have so many questions about VOR navigation, I don't even know where to start. Dude, talk to me. This is the VOR navigation week, man. You're in the right place. What's up? What do you got? Oh, dude. Captain Seppi, dude, with the freaking... Oh, my God. Dude, look at the one on the far right, dude. Do you watch Bob's Burgers? That looks like the Louise cat. Like maybe a Louise cat with her, like, I know there's no bunny ears, but yeah. They're so cute, dude. The mom is so cute, dude. Like, I was like late as fuck, dude, to work, and because I stopped by to like visit the kitties, and like they needed some like food and stuff, and I just could. The mom especially is like so adorable, so I just like stopped by, and she like recognizes me. She like runs up to me, you know, because I took care of her when she was like pregnant. I like fed. I was telling the guys. I forget if you were in the room at the time when I was talking about it. I think you were actually. I took care of her with the cheese and turkey, like cut up turkey, little shredded cheese, like on a plate with like Brita water, and it was like super hot outside, and like it just gave her some shade and some love and stuff, and yeah, and she never forgot that, and it touched me, dude, when she like saw me last night and like ran up to me. I missed her so much. Um, Brick, are your streams saved as videos on demand, so I can go back and watch yesterday? Yeah, dude. So, you know what, you guys, like, help me out actually. Like, I tried, with all this weird shit that's happening, with Twitch, like, I think with the breach and everything, I think that they made YouTube like not cool right now. Like, I think that they disconnected YouTube for a second, and while they figure out what's going on. Is that pretty consistent with what you guys are experiencing? I tried exporting, and it wouldn't let me export. Um, and it wouldn't let me export because it said my YouTube account. I've not heard anything about it. Huh. I definitely have seen. I put the issue up on, or I tried researching the issue on. Um, well, I just did a Google search of it, and I saw that it did come up on Twitter and um, on Reddit. People like getting an error, like when you go to link your account. So like, see, look at this is what I'm saying. Let's see here. So, yeah, when you come to the channel, let's say, or wait, no. The channel, let's say, or wait, no. There we go. When I go to the settings and then the connections here, see the YouTube, export archives, connect. Normally that was connected. I come here, switch to my clearly like it's like an account, and then allow. This thing like trips out. It says fail to connect. Please make sure you have a YouTube channel associated with your Google account and try again. Like I totally do. So I put it in the in a Google search, and hold on. Yeah, I put it in a Google search, and definitely people are having issues. Oh, you said I've never used that? Yeah, people are definitely having issues with it. I wasn't sure if you guys had heard of it, and I think it has to do with the breach that recently happened. So, yeah. But yeah, if you haven't heard anything, it's just super weird because to answer your question, like, normally I do, I export them to my YouTube channel, and I would just have you go and check out my YouTube. But as of right now, if you go to my content, yeah, Ground School and Sim Wednesdays with the CFI wearing a Legend of Zelda t-shirt. So it says VOR navigation for 3.5 hours. That's ground, workshop, and sim. That's a pretty good one. So, but you know, at the same time, like, ask away, dude. Like, if you have questions, that's why I'm here. I was just using a program to go in and download my videos when I wanted them. Yeah, that's the other thing I was noticing too, that people just use they don't use YouTube, they just use a different program. But I kind of like having YouTube. Like, you know, I want the traffic to be, you know, I want the foot traffic to go over there. So but definitely go for it. Like, if you have a question, I'm definitely here for you. What's up? But also, you said you don't even know where to start, right? You know, one place I would advise you to start is just go on a, you know, if you have a tablet or something, or even a computer, like your just regular computer, I'm sure. There are a lot of different with typing. That's okay. That's fine. That's fine. I'll bet you I could guess, you know, some of the issues. You know, as a double I, like, we teaching instrument flying is not easy. And even as a regular CFI, you know, teaching a private pilot navigation techniques using the VOR, like, it's pretty difficult. It's pretty difficult. You know what I'll do is I'll open up that that Navigator app and just go through a couple examples before we hop in the actual airplane, and we'll see if we can kind of get an aha moment out of you. So that's what I'll do right now. Maybe someday you will have an open Discord night or something. That would be sick. Yeah, I definitely do. In fact, Brick, you're a subscriber, so I that's actually part of what I do have on my. Let me open up my Discord. Actually, I forgot about that. If you want to, yeah, Brick. Oh, do you not have? I don't see you on my Discord here. Yeah, join that Discord, man. The link to my Discord is on my About Me page, and you're a subscriber, so I mean, I'll hop in the voice channel with you, and that's part of you keeping the channel alive. My Twitch subscribers have voice capability in the Discord community. So hop on in, dude. Let's get it figured out. In fact, I'd love for you to do that and be able to talk one-on-one and before we hop in the plane, and then we can go through the exercise together. We could go through the yeah, this right here. Bam. When I click Discord below, it says the link is expired. Oh, shit, for real? Oh, maybe I messed that up. Hold on. Invite people. Invite. Oh, it expires in 7 days. Oh, man. Okay, so I should do one that never expires, so that way I can, yeah. Okay, yeah, I think this is the right thing to do. So let me generate that. Oh. Okay, sorry about that. 1 second. Let me amend the thing. Dude, no wonder. Dude, I bet people have been really trying with the Discord. God, I messed that up. All right. Well, first of all, here, I'm just gonna put that in there. And then I'm gonna change that real quick to, let's see here. Oh, for some reason, yeah, I'm not able to. Maybe while I'm streaming, I can't. That's so weird. How am I not able to adjust that? There's the channel trailer. It's gotta be. I know it's in my about me, but how is it? Am I not able to adjust my panels? Okay, here we go. Good. Okay, sweet. Bam. Okay, cool. Adjust that. That one doesn't expire. Submit. Dang. I'm surprised no one told me. Discord streamer mode keeps you from doing some things to protect the server. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, brick. Okay, cool. Very cool. So let me get back to this. Sick. Okay, cool, man. Yeah, no, totally. Okay, now we got that on there, and I'm gonna be right back too, and then I'm gonna join you in the voice chat, Brick. One sec. You guys can just hang out with Tangles here for a second. All right, sweet. Let's get talking, Brick. Thank you, by the way, for that again for the sub. All right, Brick, you hear me, buddy? Oh, you know what? Let me turn Is it possible to turn your volume up?
Yeah, if you right click on my name, there's a little
Oh,
slider.
let's see here. Oh, yeah. All right. Test, test.
Testing one, two, three.
Ooh, still pretty low, but good enough. Okay. So, yeah. What's going on, man? So, trouble with VORs. Don't know where to start. First of all, are you a student pilot?
Uh, I I am, but not actively.
Very cool. Oh, at heart.
It's been a lifelong dream. Let's put it that way. But yeah, I have done, I've done multiple like introductory flights long ago. I've done um, the majority of the Sporty's ground training.
Oh, really?
Um,
Oh, wow.
I've got 1,800 hours in Microsoft Flight Sim since it came
Whoa.
out.
Whoa, dude, that's gnarly. So
So
you safe to say you can land an airplane.
in the sim,
Uh, well,
in the
that's the
sim.
funny thing about that is there are YouTube videos out there of guys going on a first lesson after 1,500 hours of sim and like landing an airplane and the instructor's sitting there like, why am I even here? Um,
Yeah.
so that's cool though, man. You know what?
So, I mean,
Someday,
I've got a
what?
pretty good idea
Yeah.
of
So
kind of what's going on, but there's still some things when it comes to VOR navigation. Like I said, I mean, um,
yeah,
I've watched a lot of YouTube videos and stuff like that, but then, like I said, recently I got a radio panel, and now I've got this
dope.
piece of equipment sitting here.
Yeah. Well,
I
let
thought, maybe I should really like learn how to use it.
absolutely. Let's talk. So what are maybe what are some like preliminary like questions? Maybe things that you're confused about. What comes to mind like when
Well,
you're
some of the issues that I ran into, like just in like this in like the last day or two, because I've got a lot of hours in the sim, but like most of that's all just flying around using GPS, um, or another program that I use quite a bit is a little nav map,
okay?
and so I don't know if you're
Oh
familiar
yeah,
with little
yeah.
nav
Not
map.
no, not familiar. No.
It's like a sky vector, but it actually like overlays your plane icon on charts,
Oh yeah.
and
So
it
I just
will.
recently started using Navigraph, kind of like that, I guess.
Yeah, it's similar except for Navigraph's a paid subscription and Little Navmap is free.
Love it. That's
And
awesome.
Little Navmap has more features and capabilities in it than have any idea what to do with.
Oh wow,
It is an amazing program for a freeware
for sure.
flight sim. But anyways, it'll put your taps into the sim using Sim Connect or whatever like
Sure.
everything else does, and then it overlays. So
Gotcha.
anyways, they have their charts and stuff in there. So how I have been doing things is I make my route out in little nav map, and then I save it to the Microsoft Flight Sim format, and then I just import it from the world map
Mm-hmm.
screen.
Mm-hmm.
So I do all my planning and stuff over there. But like I said,
Gotcha.
so now here's some of the problems that I've had is one, this might just be a little nav map thing. Um, and need to go back in and look at Sky Vector, but it doesn't seem to show like the compass rose like I see on um like on Sky Vector and stuff.
Sure.
So that's one thing that has confused me. And so like I'm going in, I'm trying to do my planning, and I'm writing down the frequencies that I see,
Mm-hmm.
next to the little blue marker that I am guessing is a VOR
Okay.
or um whatever. And then I'm looking at the frequencies, and so I'm ready to do my flight. I'm putting everything in, and a lot of times the seems like the information and the frequencies that I tune in on Nav 2 like never pick anything up,
Okay.
or at least the needles don't move. And like I'm flying the Cessna 172, the
Sure.
steam gauge version,
Yeah.
and VOR2 like doesn't do anything. I don't know how to tell. Like on a Garmin 1000, I know that when it picks up the signal, it actually like tells you what the code of the
Yeah.
VOR is, and it has like the DME, and I know where to look for all that kind of stuff, but I
Right.
don't really know how that translates to the 172
Yeah.
with steam gauges and
Well,
the
is it?
Garmin 530 or whatever it is.
Yeah. So that was what I was going to ask you. Is it the 530? So you actually can pick up the three letter identifier as well in the GPS unit, right?
I have no idea
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
where to look for that. I mean, I know it's on the bottom unit because I figured out that the top unit seems like it's like Com1 Nav1, and then the
Yeah.
bottom unit is Com2 Nav2. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. The top one, if it's the stock 172 with the 530 in the top and the 430 on the bottom, the top one is the nav one, and the bottom is the nav two. So, but they both have the capability to pick up based on a signal that you input, like what they should be able to not only give you the three-letter identifier, but the radial that you're on in real time and the
Okay.
distance. So we
So
could take a look.
that's what I thought. And the weird thing was is when so I had Nav1 tuned in, right? And it's showing, and it's DME capable, and it's it's doing what it's supposed to do. I put that exact same frequency in Nav2, and it finds it. But then
Gotcha.
I went back and flipped it back to the other one, which it should be reading because I'm only 20 nautical miles from it. So I'm assuming I'm well close enough to it.
Oh yeah.
But the other ones don't come in. So part of my problem is knowing exactly what that I need to be looking for on the chart to make sure that I'm actually tuning a frequency for
Yeah.
for
Let's
a
take
VOR.
a look at your neck of the woods. Where are you at? Let's just look at it.
I am about 10 minutes away from KCVG.
All right. Looks
Which is
like you're
also where
in
I work.
the Minneapolis area. Awesome. So
KCVG should be Northern Kentucky.
let's see here.
Charlie Victor Golf.
Oh, Victor Golf. Victor Golf.
Victor Golf. Yeah. Sorry.
There we go. Yeah, Kentucky Internet. Okay, cool. See. Oh, yeah. So you're trying to now. Where are you flying with respect to this humongous class Bravo? Are you like?
Right. So, yeah. So I pull these up and I'm just like, okay, there's so much information on here.
Yeah.
So this is where I would be flying out of, and then to any obviously, there's a crap ton of other little airports and
Yeah. Well,
stuff kind of around this area.
So my question is like, so do you typically fly actually your sim out of this class Bravo, or are you like over here in Cincinnati? Yeah.
I mix it up.
Okay.
To be honest, I do a lot of flight sim economy stuff, and most of my airplanes are home based out of KCVG.
Awesome. Okay.
But the one I did the other day, like that is the one that I was telling you about. I went from pull up mine. I can't remember what it was.
Was it like maybe in the
Went
north
from
here?
KCVG, and then I went up to K Day, which is just north.
Okay.
It's really close. It's just north of it.
Day.
It's called
like DAY actually.
yeah.
Okay, let's
KDAY.
let's get it.
And
DAY.
it's north and just a smidge east.
Oh, Class
Pretty
Charlie
close.
there. Okay. Yeah,
So
James.
I pulled this up, right? And
uh-huh.
I'm like, so again, and I'm using little nav map, so maybe
Sure.
that's part of the problem, or maybe I just don't have something turned on. But I on my chart, I wasn't seeing anything for K-Day that was a VOR. So there's actually in that same airspace, kind of on the to the right, there's another. It's KFFO, and it's like on the outer
Right,
rim,
I
kind
see
of bottom
that.
right.
Yeah, right, Patterson. Yeah.
That one I did find a VOR that's called FFO. So that's what I put in. So I did.
Really?
I did the. I ended up finding the KCVG one, and I ended up. It's like 117 something. So I put that in COM1, and I did the from.
Okay.
Right, and I looked at it, and I figured out, okay, this is the radial that I need to, be heading on to run into KFFO.
Mm-hmm.
And then I tuned that as the secondary.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the one I never got nav 2 to do anything with that.
Well, I see. I'm hearing a couple things. So I mean, I'm feeling like I'm able to help you because I see nothing at James Cox or Wright-Patterson that is, I see no nav aids in this whole area other than Dayton, which is 114.5. I see nothing of use to you navigation wise in this area. Now, going further
So is that not a VOR that's at Wright Patterson?
at Wright-Patterson, I see no VOR at Wright-Patterson. I'm looking. Are you looking at the chart, like up on the screen right there?
I'm looking at both. I have 3 monitors, so I've got little nav map open on one
Yeah,
screen,
I'm
and then
looking
I've got
at. I'm
you up on
looking
the
at
other.
this. Let's look at the. Nah, no, no, no. There is no VOR at Wright Patterson.
But
What?
see right there, like in parentheses, it says Wright Patterson Air Force Base or whatever. Then it says like FFO, and then see on that's weird. So on my
Yeah, yeah, right here. This is a this class Delta. You're right. You're talking about this class
yeah,
Delta.
yep,
Yeah. No, there's
yeah,
nothing here. There
and
is
then little
no.
nav map though it has a
You want to
it
throw a
has
screenshot up on the Discord?
yeah. And like I said,
Cause,
so maybe it's just maybe it's just something else, and I don't know what I'm
cause,
looking at.
cause what? Yeah, that would be something where it's like if
But
there's a navigate.
when I put my pointer of it though, it's calling it a TACN. What's that mean? TACAN?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean if it's yeah, a TACAN is gonna be um
And then when I highlight over it says channel 99X, but then in parentheses it says 115.20 megahertz. So I looked at that and assumed, okay, this is a nav aid, and I can just tune into that frequency.
um yeah, oh hold on, let me get this
It's
over
like let me
here.
pop open a
Yeah, you want to throw that in the
something where I can screenshot.
you want to do like the private pilot channel there or something?
Sure, I can send it straight to you. I can put it in a channel, whatever you want.
Yeah, yeah. Why don't you put it in the channel so that way if there are others, they can kind of see what's
Private
going
pilot
on.
things, you said,
What's
or
that?
flight simulator things. Private pilot things or flight
Yeah,
simulator
either
things.
way. Yeah, yeah. Either way, it's all good.
We'll go flight simulator things since
Sure.
that's technically what it is, I guess, right?
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
Right, right, right. Okay. Yeah, yeah. 99X. That's a TACAN. That's not even any that you don't have the equipment to tune into
So
that.
so it's a military thing because it's Air
Yeah, that's a
Force Base, right?
military thing. Yeah.
So that's why I wasn't sure of. But like I said, when I looked at all the other stuff, I mean, I was looking for like that compass rose,
Hmm.
and so I saw this one, and I was like, okay, well, I mean, and then when like I said, I put my mouse pointer on it, it says 115.20 megahertz or whatever. So I was
Yeah.
like, all right,
Right.
I'll just,
Right.
I'll just, I'll just tune into that. And
No, no, no. So let me so going back to this to the screen on Sky Vector here. Um this is really what you want to be looking at. For in terms of your GA, your 172 like regular, 530 and your 430 with regular GPS capability. Those are great GPS units, but if you want to be getting acquainted with the VORs, you want to be looking for these compass roses right here. Dayton is one option. Let me actually go to the World VFR. We've got Dayton right here. We've got Rosewood right there. So we've got Rosewood on 117.5. We've got Dayton on 114.5. We've also got down here to the south, if you wanted to go kind of between, what was that? Cincinnati and, and what was this again? Dayton. Between Cincinnati and Dayton, you might want to use, Dayton and what's this one? Midwest. Midwest on 112.9. You can see that right there. Yeah, Midwest is really a good one. So yeah, Dayton. This compass rose right.
and what I was trying to do
Yeah.
was I was going to leave from KCVG. And again, I was just trying to do like 2 or 3 kind of spots, you know what I mean? Where I
Yeah.
could kind of play around with it. So
Yeah.
my plan was to go from KCVG up to K-Day initially, which then
Okay.
turned into KFFO, which we already talked about.
Yeah.
And then I was basically going east from there,
Okay.
um, over to a place that was like straight east from there. I can't remember. I think it was like Cape
Maybe
Pitt or something
maybe
like that.
Madison. Oh, oh, okay.
I think it was
Oh,
Cape.
were you
I think
trying
it
to
was
go to
like
that
Cape.
other class Charlie Columbus over here? You were trying to just basically go from Wright Patterson east to this Charlie, or no?
I'm looking right now to see kind of which one it was. It wasn't that far. So yeah, I think it was like KCMH
Yeah, that makes sense. Just a
or
couple of
or
like a
something like that. Like I remember it wasn't very long. It was just take off, go do the transition, go over to the other one to
yeah,
see if everything went smooth. But it didn't.
yeah.
But it sounds like
That would be
that.
really great. You know what you could do in order to do that would be you could do that in a number of different ways. You could uh go track direct. You could take off out of Dayton. In fact, I'm tempted to just do this tonight just to show you. You could take off out of Dayton. You could tune into the Dayton VOR, make a left turn out of what runway you're using. Let's see here. It's looks like 28. So something to the south. Maybe this long one. What is that? That long one is one of the 2-4s. Take off a runway 24 and maybe make like a right turn, actually, like a right downwind departure from runway 24 right, and then intercept an airway, or there are no airways actually. You can intercept a radial from Dayton VOR to direct to Columbus, right there, and use Yellow Bud for the cross radials. You see Yellow Bud right here at the bottom of the
Mhm.
screen. Yellow Bud you could easily get. So like here is what I'm saying is we'll go James, or the Wright Patterson, excuse me, Wright Patterson, and maybe do um I'm thinking, let's actually hold on. Let's go to the TAC chart, because are you actually primarily using pilotage, or are you utilizing GPS, or like what are you going for? Are you doing this VFR or IFR?
I mean, like I said, I just got it. Really kind of even started messing around with it.
Gotcha.
Like I said, my plan and stuff, whatever. Like I said, was just to try to just do it strictly with VOR and not use any
I
GPS
love it. I love it.
or as little as possible. Like
Yeah.
I've been doing that for 1,800 hours. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
No, that's awesome.
it's time to do something else. I mean, and
Yes.
this is what I originally wanted to start with, but it's kind of one of those things where like, you know, you have a certain amount of time each day to get on and do some flights, and it's
Yeah.
like, all right, well, let's see. I'll just do this quick flight plan and
You know what okay, so let's figure this out. You know what you could do is go to you
and
could
this is the part I have no clue about, like, like putting the VORs and stuff and in the plane, and
yeah.
I understand that if the line's to the right and the left, and I understand that stuff. It's the how do you like the dual stuff and everything
Yeah.
that you were talking about to like I
Yeah.
have no idea what you know
Okay, here's what I think we should do. We should do you should plan a route. Going to the north is pretty tough because there's not a whole lot here as you leave Dayton to go to make a right downwind departure to come back east. There's nothing really in here that is useful to you, really. I mean, you could track a radial from Dayton direct to the other, to I'm sorry, what was the other one? Cincinnati, um, right? Yeah. Oh no, to Columbus. Excuse me, to Columbus. We're going from um, Dayton to Columbus, so you
right.
could go track directly from Dayton to Columbus, but there's nothing really along the way that is useful. But if you actually take off, let's say on 24 right, and instead you do a right crosswind departure for right Patterson. You climb above that airspace, right? You go right Patterson, and then from right Patterson you do Springfield. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You do Springfield to uh to ooh, I like this. You could actually go Springfield to the airway right here. Um let's see here. What's the best way to do this? Oh, maybe you could just go from Springfield. Oh, yeah. So this is actually a way for you to use pilotage and dead reckoning like as a primary means of navigation. And actually VOR, you're not going to be tracking a VOR, but you would be utilizing it for cross radials to verify that you are where you think you are. So you would go from Springfield to Bolton, and then from Bolton you can enter. Let's see, the wind is from the east, so, and from the south really. So then you would enter the base from right here. You'd probably go from Bolton to the stadium, and then from the stadium into the airport, just like that. Now the cool thing about this route is, first of all, your points are along airports along the way. So if you have an issue, your checkpoints are actually places where you could go that you could either turn back to or divert to. You know, the big thing about tonight is diversion, right? So that's a
Mm-hmm.
really smart way to go. The other thing is you've got a wealth of VORs to actually help you get to where you're going, and verify that you are where you are. I would be primarily using, you could even use Dayton and Midwest if you want. But like, for example, right here over Springfield, right here over Springfield, that is the apparently the 360 radial. You see that straight line, the magenta straight line from the VOR to Springfield Airport?
Mm-hmm.
That's a 360 radial. You would have 360, you would dial your VOR2 into 112.9, and then 360 dialed in, and watch that needle come in. And you would look down and verify that it looks like this cross kind of shaped airport, and there you go. You
So now
verified.
is that 360? So on the tag it says 000. So that's the same as
Yeah. So you would
360.
just you would dial in north. You would just do the N. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and then that is how you would use that. Or like, let's say that this point right here, it would be on a VFR navlog where it would be a beam Madison. You would still be utilizing your choice. Actually, you could use Yellow Bud or Midwest for this. You could even mix it up if you wanted to use multiple VORs. But like this point right here, if let's say you wanted to use Yellow Bud, you would tune into 112.5. There's Yellow Bud right there, and apparently that is the 320 radial that you would cross up on VOR2. So that's kind of cool, man. I mean, that's really the way to do it, especially if you're VFR and you're in a 172 and you're not using GPS. You want to chart your own course. That's the way to do
Right.
it, dude. Use the VORs that way. Not a whole lot. What you could do if you wanted to make your way up this way is intercept. Let's see here.
Just to make sure that I'm understanding what you're saying. And so
Mm-hmm.
like when you just looked at the last one that was, or the first one was 360 and the other one was the 320 or
Yeah.
220 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So then, okay, so let's say, so I'm going along and I have the VOR tuned in and I have it set to that heading there.
Mm-hmm.
So as I get closer to that intersect point or whatever, then I would expect then the needle comes up and is like only straight and perfect for a short period of time.
Yes.
And then I pass it, and then it slowly kind of deflects
Exactly. Exactly.
to the south side or the east side or whatever's behind me, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay,
And I'm
making
tempted.
sure I'm following.
No, I'm tempted to do this right now so that you can see like what I'm talking about, and we would go plan. We'll go plan this, and even go get lost in here. Today is like lost procedures, and maybe we go plan this route. We bring in a couple of these airports utilizing these VORs for cross radials, and we actually divert to Weller, or we divert to Union County, utilizing a direct line. It's all about VORs, right? So why not
Right.
divert and utilize Yellowbud, a direct line from where we're at, from Yellowbud to Union County, and track direct to Union County. Why don't we do that?
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down for
Let's
whatever.
let that sounds dope as hell. Let's actually do that. So I'm
So
gonna
I got a million questions, like I said.
do you,
Like,
now that's the plan for tonight. So I mean, let do you have questions in terms of that we could answer, for example, right here? Like, is it
no, I
function?
mean, I think I'm following everything that's
Okay.
that we've been talking about so far.
I mean, it sounds good. So, I mean, if you have, I mean, I just was wondering if you had another, few questions, or if you just, it was the kind of thing you wanted to jump in and maybe the questions will get answered, or maybe will come about as we do it, or did you actually have burning questions that you wanted to?
No, no, I mean,
Let's do it.
I'm game with just jumping in and
Let's do it. Let's do it.
kind of seeing how she goes.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, absolutely.
I noticed you were talking about the X plane, and I have lurked in a bunch of times since the first time I came in, and I
Sick.
noticed that you were flying X plane a lot. Is that your preferred
It actually is. Yeah.
sim?
Yeah, it actually
Really,
is, dude.
even for VFR ship? I
Yeah.
mean, like,
Even for VFR stuff, because like the thing is, man, is like, listen, there's no comparison to the way that things look in Microsoft Flight Sim. Like, it's a beautiful, presentation. It's just the dynamic. For me personally, if I'm gonna flight sim, I need it to feel real, not necessarily look particularly real. Which, by the way, I don't think X Plane is particularly hideous, you know. But
no.
in terms of I just can't like. And the other night, like what was it, last night or something, the autopilot wasn't even working correctly, and so
Right.
yeah, it is my preferred. But I hate to say it, man, because it's so damn beautiful.
I
But yeah, you just
think
can't.
I think X plane's definitely better when it comes to I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Obviously I'm not a pilot, so when you hear like people talking about the flight dynamics and this
Right.
and that, like, I mean, okay, whatever. Like, does it does it really translate well to me because I don't have anything to really like.
Gotcha.
I've got like 5 hours in a 152 or something. Like, I don't know. You know.
Gotcha.
But what I my personal opinion is it seems like X plane is better for definitely for people who want to fly tube liners around,
Uh-huh.
and doing that kind of stuff and not really caring what the scenery looks like. But for me with visual stuff, like that's all I do is GA stuff, and like
Yeah.
most of the times when
Yeah.
we're flying, like we're not even making a professional route plan or anything.
Right.
We're out bush flying in Papua New Guinea where there's no rules. You know what
Dude,
I mean?
hey.
Like, it's prison rules.
And let me tell you something else is yeah, exactly. The other thing too, man, is from my standpoint, I'm flying this sim with one hand, and like as an amputee like pilot, so when I'm over here, cuz I'm managing my OBS, like I'm managing the tablet, I'm managing and I'm copying down things. So for me, the flight dynamics really mean a lot because if I had another hand to stabilize the airplane and manage Twitch and manage everything else, then
Yeah.
I guess it would be tolerable. But it's really tough. Like when I have to leave the yoke to go do something and the plane doesn't behave as it would in real life, that's how I fly. It's not a big deal because the plane is stable, and the plane is rather stable, and it's not perfect, but it's stable in X-plane too. But the planes are so negatively stable, like in Microsoft, it's like pretty crazy. Like from a one-handed standpoint, it's kind of rough, and I want a quality product like for you guys. I don't want the airplane all over the place, and so for me
Oh
it's
yeah, I
kind of a
feel you.
yeah, it's kind of a unique situation.
I knew about your story. I went through and I read. I'm a I'm a writer as well, so definitely
Oh wow.
it, it hits home. I got the the Buell still sitting out in the garage,
Ah,
and
really?
so I didn't want to sound like a bitch, but yeah, so I had a fall in my backyard and I like totally shattered my left wrist
No.
uh, a few weeks ago, and so I've got 15 screws and titanium plates
Oh
and
wow, dude. No,
so
that's insane,
so
dude.
I didn't want to say something, but that's like I was trying to type and stuff. I'm a one-handed typer, and usually I'm yeah, I mean you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Like
dude. Oh my God. Yeah, it makes you
so
appreciate that other hand for sure.
absolutely, dude. So my hat's off to you, man,
Hey,
for
dude,
that whole
thank you.
thing, because I don't know how you even dealt with it. Like I started having like panic attacks and stuff. You know, I went
Yes.
in and they did the surgery and they did like the blocker or whatever that they give to like
Yes.
pregnant
The
women or
did you
whatever.
gabapentin?
Dude, I lost my shit, dude. I
Yes.
freaked out, bro. Like
Yes.
never experienced anything like that in my life.
It's
So
weird. I really appreciate the empathy, really. And
that's
it
amazing.
does mean a lot to me because it's tough. You know, it really oh, sorry about that. Hold on, wait one sec. It is tough, man. And when you're cornered like that, when you're backed up into a corner and you can't, use something that you should be able to use, it can be a bad day. You know what I mean? Like I mean, good luck not
Oh
having
yeah.
like anger issues, um, with that type of situation. Whoa, shit. So yeah, I really really appreciate that, and I hope are you still kind of bandaged up, or I
It's
guess
one of
you're
those
not
things where
bandaged up, but
they
you're all titaniumed up actually, right? That's a permanent thing.
yeah, yeah. And I don't know, the guy who did the surgery and stuff, he's supposed to be really good, but he basically said that like your break is like in the top like 1% of the worst breaks that I deal with, and I do like 300 of these a year.
No
You know, he
way.
said that, we're going to stabilize it and
What?
good luck. And good luck. Just basic,
No.
there was no like there's no guarantee of a full recovery, I guess is what I'm trying to say,
Oh
So it's
wow.
like they're like it's stabilized, you're not going to hurt anything, push it as much as you can, but like I have almost no left to right movement in my wrist, and like my up and down is like 30 degrees or something like that.
Oh
So
wow, dude.
it's just a endure. I mean, you know what it's like. I mean, I read through your thing and all the time and all the different surgeries and everything that
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
went through before making the decision. But um, yeah, it's basically just try to push through it, and it is what it is.
It definitely is, and you realize like, the human body is it's weak and strong at the same time. Like it's really weird like how much the body can endure and then how fragile certain things are, I mean, here
Oh
like
yeah,
when in your situation, I mean, um yeah, I mean, we can really take a beating, but certain parts of our body, the wrist, the ankle, the knee, these things are. I mean, you'll pop something, no problem. For me, the nerves. I mean, here's a hair like thing that I just tugged on it. I got it tugged on too hard when I fell on my neck, and whole limb is gone. No broken bones at all, and it's interesting because I've laid the bike down several times, and I've been in motorcycle accidents. I mean, I'm not proud of it, but I'm just saying, like, I've been in
yeah.
accidents
No,
since
I
I
know what
was,
you're saying.
yeah, it's like kind of a weird thing. It's like, but even from a kid,
Yeah,
and yet, that
I've only been
was,
down one time on the streets,
oh
but I've
yeah,
been down at 130 plus on a track 4 or 5
yeah,
times.
yeah. One of the gnarly ones was on the track as well. Yeah, exactly, exactly. That was that was a bad one, and that was me all on my own. Um, but point is, man, is I appreciate that, and um respect to you too, likewise, of just having to work through it because it is what it is, like you're saying. But yes and no, at the same time, like there are days when we're really challenged, where we're really uh we really see what we're made of when we're back when we're our backs against the wall and we really and we're it makes us itchy. We're like itching to use that other thing, or we're itching for the pain to go away, or we're itching for things to be different that may or may not ever be the same again. um
Mm-hmm.
and it can be really hard. It can be really, really hard. And for me, like, I went through a really, really, really rough time in the beginning, and relearning things that I should be able to do that apparently I can't. It's frustrating to not be able to do it. I should be able to do things certain at a certain speed, or what's taking so long, or like I shouldn't have to do it this way or whatever. Things take 3 or 4 times longer than they should. It's like, but you realize you're really you're your own worst enemy if that's how you're thinking.
Yeah. I definitely don't want to compare my situation to yours. So,
Oh,
but
dude, no, we
no,
empathize.
it's it's been rough. It's
Yeah.
definitely like, even in the just in the amount of time and stuff, whatever, since the accident, like having it like be fully like immobilized and everything, like I got a 90-year-old dude's arm on my left arm. You know what I mean? It's so fast,
Right.
your
Right.
muscle and all that stuff goes away, and like
Yes.
even just trying to like move at the elbow or something, it's just like, oh my god.
Right. You're like, where did my energy go? Like, and the other thing too that I thought was interesting, you might identify with this, is the pain can affect so many other aspects of your life besides making you like irritable. Like, I know for me, it affected my appetite, which affected my energy, which affected, my ability to be patient and stuff. It's like, dude, so many aspects get affected,
Yeah.
so much more than just, oh, my arm.
Yeah.
And I know what it's like you're saying, it feels like an old person, like an old arm. um and it's tough to see it just kind of wiltering away. Like, I had the arm for 6 years before I got rid of it, and that arm wilted away, like atrophied to damn near the bone. It's hard to watch it, and it's hard to it's sucking the energy out of you like this whole time, but somehow you gotta. Are you like in an arm sling or something, or like what are you?
I'm not anymore. Like I said, they had it fully like immobilized for a couple of weeks
Mm.
because I had to wait for like the
Mm-hmm.
surgery date.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but um, because none of my stuff is like coming out. Like sometimes they'll put like rods and stuff in there, and then they'll stay in there for a month or two or whatever. Then they go back in and like remove stuff out. Like mine's not like that. Like everything that's in there is gonna stay in there,
Okay.
and according to them, it's stabilized. So they had me in a little sling and all that stuff, and then they put me in the just stuff around my wrist, like a wrist brace and that kind of stuff. But at this point, they're like, you should probably only wear that at night, and the rest of the time you need to be like using it as much as you possibly can. You don't want your brain to like disassociate,
Yes. Yeah.
because I was guilty of that. Like for the first, like I said, I mean, I think I initially said it'd been a couple weeks, but I mean, I guess it's been almost 2 months now. But um, yeah, my brain's like, don't use that shit.
Really.
You know, don't you know what I mean? Because like, it's one of those things. Like for me, it was a mental thing too, because you look at the X-rays and you see all the pins and the screws and all that stuff in there, and you look down and you see the scars and all the
Sure.
stuff. You know what I mean? And like my brain was like, nah, dude,
Right.
we're not moving that. Like, no,
Yeah,
dude,
I
like
do actually
that's.
know that. Yeah, yeah, you're
And then you
right.
start to move it a little bit, and you start to feel like a little bit of the pain and stuff, whatever. You're like, nope, nope, yeah, that's
Right.
nope. They said I should be doing this and that,
You
and
kind of have to
you know,
force it. You have to make your brain do something that it's very Zach. What's going on, dude? You kind
yeah,
of have to make your brain do something that it doesn't want to do. And you absolutely have to. If you are able to, you gotta work it out. That's what was so crazy about physical therapy. It's essential, but I mean, there's nothing more that reminded me more about how weak I was. And you just got to get rid
yeah,
of. You got to separate out, what's necessary and what's right and what's good for you, and what are you not doing because of maybe ego, or what are you avoiding, or what are you like, just trying to yeah, you know, like for me, I hated reminders that I needed help, or I hated reminders of how weak the arm was or how effed my situation was. And at a certain point, it's just like, you know, you have to do. For me, it was amputating the arm. I should have amputated that arm probably 3 years before I actually did, maybe 2 years. But there was so much time when the writing was on the wall, that I didn't. It became like a delusion kind of, and it wasn't until, you know, I was wearing my arm sling all, like, almost 24 hours a day, and my shoulder was, you know, dislocating from just sleeping and walking, that, and my hand was everything was arthritic. Couldn't move it at all. It was completely paralyzed, and I was just like, what am I even doing? You know, like, I'm not sleeping. I'm irritable. Like, let's just move on. You know. So sometimes
Wow.
it can be really hard to be real with yourself about what you need to do. And I'm not saying go do that. I'm just saying, like, I identify with it being hard to know, like, to have a healthy, realistic perspective on, you know, what the
Right.
right thing to do is. You know. Um, yeah, damn, real
Yeah,
talk.
sorry, I didn't mean to derail you.
No, 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 real talk,
I
dude.
mean,
That's awesome.
I'm loving the conversation and stuff. I just
Yeah.
don't want to derail you from your.
No, you're good. You're good. So we got the flight plan up there in the corner, and I'm not even gonna use the GPS at all, right? But I will use this obviously for the frequencies and stuff. So looking at the chart, it looks like our first frequency. Ah, dude, you know what would be sick? Dude, let's track. Let's track from Dayton. Let's track from Dayton, dude. I didn't even notice this. How about we go on look at the four flight right there. So
Mhm.
Dayton, actually, I'm gonna blow this up for you. Hold on.
Man, I was
So,
so close to getting a 4 flight
oh,
subscription the
dude,
other
I was
day,
a I
man.
was a Garmin guy. I'm
I
never
just
going
about did
back.
it.
Yeah, it's freaking amazing, dude.
The
So
only thing that stopped me is my iPad is like too old to be supported, so I'd have to like, because if I'm gonna get it, like I want to be able to use it for real flying too, and then that means I got to go buy an iPad. So I was like,
well,
we're gonna
you don't you don't
hold off
have
on that
to.
for
Like, if
just
you
for now.
No, 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 totally, dude. And the thing is if you want to get something cheaper like a Samsung, like Garmin Pilot is just as, I mean, it's not just as good, but I mean, it will get the job done. As somebody that used
Yeah.
Garmin for years, you know, so you know that's another option. But dude, how about we do this? Let's do a left downwind departure from 24 left, and we join the Dayton. Oh shit, what was that? The Dayton. Looks like the 130. The 130 radial, okay? So Dayton, oh dude, this is gonna be the shit. So it's 114.5. Do you get what I saw there? Do you get what I
Um. Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna go off of that Dayton Class C
Yeah.
VOR up there,
Well, yeah, well, so it's not
and
the Dayton um class Charlie. It's not on airport. It's just a VOR. We're gonna go off of
right.
DQN. Yeah, Dayton. So 114. Oh, Zach, this is Brick. This is Brick Rhymes in the chat, and hopped on with some VOR questions in his neck of the woods, and we're gonna go do some tracking and get some these are like regular questions, dude. Like, everybody has these types of questions about VORs, so um yeah, feel free to hop in. It's just something like I want to do with you soon as well. Um, so the 130, so 114.5, 114.5, and we sit that in now. That is going in VOR one because Joey Bolo, what's going on? Nav one we use for primary nav tracking and intercepting. We said it's the 130, and we're setting 130 because that is what we want our heading to eventually be. Remember, the rule number one is that the VOR, the selection and the heading need to be the same or something similar. We have no wind, so it works. You could see here, by the way, that we're picking up. Oh, excuse me. Wow, dumb. Okay. You can see here that we're picking up DQN. It says the VOR DQN with this 129 radial. We're basically right there. It's at 11.2. So if you are picking that up, that should be right there. And then by the time we get to Wright-Patterson appears to be on the... Where did that VOR go? Oh, good, good, good. Okay. Well, that's kind of far away. But it's all good. It's on... What is that distance, by the way? That distance is... Oh, yeah, we're good, dude. 26 miles. It looks like that's on a 340 from Midwest. You see that 340 magnetic right there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep,
so...
because we're looking at the right side of the ruler instead of the
Yeah, yeah,
left.
it's got to make sense for the direction that now we what we want is a from indication all the time whenever we are oh, Joey, dude, hit me with the cat, dude. That's exactly what the mom looks like. Oh my god, I saw her today and the kittens today. Oh my god, dude. Me and the homeowner where they're at, we exchanged numbers, and I'm gonna totally help take care of these cats. I'm super pumped. 340 from what? Midwest. Oh, here we go. Bam. Midwest is 112.9.
Whoa, hold on. Where did you see that?
Yeah, 112.9 is right there.
Ah, okay. I got you.
Yeah. So I'm going to close that or shrink that down and then go to 112.9 on number 2. 112. And remember, the rule is with the cross radials, we need from indications. So we're going to do that 340 is what we're looking for. 3, 4.
All right. So what was that you just hit? That's just a VLOC to change the
Oh yeah,
active
yeah. So
frequency, right?
you got this this com nav, this com vloc cursor that you can select nav. These are com frequencies, and you're going to select nav, and then you can just change whatever one you're looking at. And then yeah, you do want to make sure that it's not GPS. You want to make sure that that's navigation by pressing that that CDI source.
Right.
That kind of goes back to what I was talking about in the lecture. Make sure that the source is correct.
Yep. Got
So
that.
we're all set. We're all set for the tracking to our first checkpoint, which is that airport. Pilotage wise, we're looking to head out of here just following airways or just regular radials. Well, so right now we're actually doing pilotage. We're doing pilotage to these airports right here. We're gonna expand this really quick for you. We got a pilotage. Actually, the first one we're tracking a radial outbound from that VOR right there to that magenta line to that first checkpoint at Wright-Patterson. Pilotage wise, it makes a lot of sense. It's a huge airport, class Delta, that goes up 3,400 feet on the altimeter. So imagine we're going to be climbing. Let's see, we are eastbound. So let's climb up to 5,005. Seems like a good altitude. There's not a lot of terrain around here, so it's all good.
How far is that?
The
From
from oh yeah. So
from
that
where we take off to where we need to be at
I
5,000 feet over KFFO? How
I
far is that?
believe let's see here. Navlog wise, that is 9 miles. So it's about just under 10 miles. So couple of options of how we would do that. We could either box climb in the pattern over the airport, or we could just like call them for the transition to the south to the over for the overhead transition to the east, and that's not a problem at all. So yeah, we don't need to be like we don't need to totally avoid their airspace, but we do need to be sure to call them
Right.
before before the edge of the airspace. And cool thing that we
That's
can
obviously something I'm still trying to work on learning about too.
yeah
I mean, I'm trying to learn about everything, but airspaces and
yeah
I mean, I do understand the basics of it. Like I said, I did do this like the Sporties ground thing, and I've done a lot of other little self trainings and stuff like that.
sure.
But
Oh, dude. I mean, I'm intending to do airspace at some point next month, for ground, and we'll cover it. But really, the takeaway from this lecture is, first of all, or from this flight, is to understand your aircraft's performance and to be able to plan your top of climb, and based on your performance, like, where are you gonna, if you're gonna go up to 5,500 feet, like, how long is that gonna take you, and where are you gonna be at the top of that climb? Is there a pilotage point around you where you could determine that? Now, for us, we're probably going to be in the middle of that climb. We are going to need a transition, most likely.
Yeah,
I
'cause that's what I was
doubt.
thinking. Like in the Cessna, I was like, man, I don't know if you're gonna climb.
Well, I don't know,
Would
actually.
you
I
say
don't think we will. I think we're going to be above
5,000?
it, because check this
Think
out.
so?
Yeah, I think so. First of all, what even is our weight? We are let me get rid of this here. That's you and me. Let's do 4 hours of fuel. Yeah, dude, with 2/3 weight, like, we're in an SP, so we got a 180 horsepower engine. I'll bet you that we're already 1,000 feet above sea level. So we're starting off at 1,000
That's
feet
true.
on the altimeter. You know what I mean? And we've got five. This inner ring right here is a 5 mile radius. So, you know, I
Should be all
I
right, because what that'll climb at like 1,000 feet
it'll
per
probably do
minute
about
pretty
800.
easily.
It'll do a steady 800 probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe seven. Actually, yeah, probably close to 1,000 feet a minute for a little while. Yeah, yeah. So, let's see where we're at,
All right.
and without digging too crazy into the POH, and we'll call them up on the tower and get the transition if we need to. Okay, now, I'm all set. Let's. Oh, you know what? And let's get VOR2 ready. So we're using VOR1, or I'm sorry, we're using what was that? Midwest. We're using Midwest for this, and we're also using Midwest for that second one. But right here, we are going to be abeam that airport, and I want to use that VOR right there. So what's that one? Yellow Bud. Yellow Bud is 112.5. We want to get that ready right there. 112.5. Just on standby. And now we are set. Now we are set. Okay. So let's go and put this thing together, dude.
Let's
Um,
do it.
let's get the airport diagram out. Sick. Love these Jeppesen, um, the way that Jeppesen presents it. So this is when we would get the weather. We let the ground know. We've got Dayton ground. Actually, Dayton clearance. Cessna 172 Sierra Papa requesting flight following to some airport that I'm embarrassed I can never remember the name for some reason. To Columbus. And they're going to say Cessna 172 Sierra Papa, and we're a 172 Sierra Papa, with a slant golf on board, slant golf equipment with GPS. And they're going to say Cessna 172 Sierra Papa, departure frequency is 118.42, 118.42, and squawk 0220. All right. 118.42 and 0220. 172 Sierra Papa. 118.42.
So that last third character after the decimal doesn't mean anything then?
Yeah, not in my experience, it doesn't really play that big of a role, actually.
Yeah, because
But that's a good question. I never.
my radio panel doesn't go out three decimals.
Yeah.
So
It's never
I'm
been.
just like,
Yeah, it's never been an
so
issue for me.
if you go to 0.42, then it obviously it works the same, or does it?
Yeah. It should just be like, it should just go to the hundredths place being the main, you know. So I haven't ever experienced it being a problem. Okay, so we're ready for taxi. We got taxi is there, and we got our clearance. 172 Sierra Papa ready to taxi runway 24 left. Taxi 24 left via Foxtrot and hold short 24 left. 172 Sierra Papa. Okay, cool. Let's do it. Okay. And I have the sound off because for some reason you're coming in kind of quiet, so I had to turn you up, and the airplane's going to be pretty loud, and it's like the volume's all weird, so it's just we don't really need the volume anyways. Kind of sucks because I love the Pilot Edge that I have, like that I pay for, but it's not out here. It doesn't go out this far. I think it ends in Denver. Do you do any ATC? Do you use like VATSIM or anything?
I've done VATSIM a little bit, and then I won a 1 month Pilot Edge subscription off of another stream.
No
and
way.
So I did that a little bit, but it's the same. It's the same with me. Like it's mostly like West Coast-ish
Yeah.
type stuff.
What
so,
are you in a lot? Are you said you do economy? Like is that like sim charter stuff?
Yeah, it's just a website.
Approaching
with
runway
Oh my God.
24 left.
economy stuff.
Sorry about that. What's up?
Yeah, it's just like a third-party economy stuff. You know, you start with nothing, pull up airports and see what airplanes are there for rent, and what jobs they have, and
Dude, that's cool.
work your way up to where you have your own company and own your own planes and
Dude, that's rad.
stuff. So just kind of gives you something more.
Yeah,
than
like a
just-
purpose, like or maybe like a mission, maybe.
Yeah, and you can fly with friends and stuff like that. But
Dude, sick.
but yeah, no.
Dude.
So I've been in Kentucky for 5 years now, but I was born in California. I think you and I talked about this before. Like my parents live in Palm Desert.
Oh
We
right,
had
that's
talked
right.
about that before, and
Yeah.
I was saying maybe I'll have to try to snag some lessons from you when I'm out visiting.
Oh, dude, I hope I have the pleasure someday. I hope I hope I have the pleasure. Let's go ahead and go mix full rich. Yeah, 1,000%, dude. Come out here, man. Let's get it. Let's do it. We got the chart up there in the top, and we are on with Tower 172 Sierra Papa holding short runway what are we? What was that? 24 left at a Foxtrot for a left crosswind. Actually, a left downwind departure. 172 Sierra Papa, clear for takeoff, 24 left. And we are clear final.
Approaching runway 24
Oh
left.
my God, sorry.
Entered runway 24.
Stop yelling. Alrighty. Get out here on 24. And we're going to make a left. First of all, we're going to make sure that the compass is not synced to the heading indicator. There's 2424. And here we go. So we're going to go toes down, 2,000 RPM. Systems are green. Let's do it. Full power. Systems are green on the roll. And airspeed is alive. We're going to go left downwind. So I really love these like GA flying these, you know, I was flying some I was doing like the PC-12, I was doing the Citation, I was doing the Cessna 550 and the 510, I was doing the 525. I love the jets are super fun. And then I was like thinking really about doing these ground school like sessions. I'm like, dude, you know what? We should take it to like GA, dude, and just really like look at the systems and look at the procedures for GA and make that, you know, the purpose. That's I was noticing on Twitch like a lot of people are doing airliner stuff, and it's cool to do some different stuff. I personally really like GA. So
Yeah, it's really where my only interests are.
Yeah, man, totally.
Well, back in the day, so like I was saying, it's been like a lifelong. So like I'll be 47 next month. So when I got out of high school, in like 94, something like that,
Oh yeah.
I looked into going to ATP, and they were like, "Yeah, it's going to cost you about $80,000," and I was like, "Yep, no thanks."
Yeah,
Like
no kidding.
80 grand for a commercial pilot license, and uh,
Yeah.
my parents weren't paying for my school. I hadn't saved any money. I'm fresh out of
Yeah.
high school. I didn't really know a lot about school loans and that kind of stuff,
Right, right, right.
So, but yeah, that was the first thing that I really looked at going to do after high school.
Yeah, was training. Like
Yeah,
go
was
go
going to
train.
ATP for a commercial
Oh, I
pilot
see.
license. Yeah, I ended up getting a degree in electronics engineering instead.
Oh wow. Oh dude, that's nuts. Maybe are you do you have plans to maybe like go into the industry in a different capacity like with your engineering?
No, I mean, I think at this point I just want to try to get a private pilot license. I've even actually been thinking of that, maybe even just going with a sport pilot license. And I know that there's restrictions and different stuff on that, but like
Yeah.
I don't really have like, unless I was in like a Cirrus or something like with parachutes and stuff, like my wife's not getting in an airplane with me anytime soon, you know what I mean? So
Gotcha.
it's not like I gotta have the ability to cart other people around. So I thought about just getting a sport pilot license just to get me up and flying. And
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. I think go do whatever you want, you feel like you want to do. The best advice I could give, because I work at a school that is transitioning right now to certified aircraft, like kind of away from light sport. I used to teach light sport. I would do the private pilot in light sport aircraft, and then clients would come in and oh yeah, we're gonna hit 35, no freaking problem, dude. uh, I clients would come in wanting their sport, and I would say like 8 out of 10 of them would just end up going for the private. But the limitations, I don't know, man. Like flying at night, it's kind of nice to be able to fly at night, and you never know what friends you want to bring along. 2, 3 friends, I don't know. I you might want to think about it, especially if you really have the knack for it. The challenges associated with the private pilot, like I don't know, it's pretty nice. Plus, you can continue, like if you want your instrument rating, like really, it's the private pilot and the instrument rating. Those are the two. That's the bee's knees right there. You don't even have to go super far. Just get your private and your instrument.
yeah,
You're good, dude. Um, so, but I encourage you to do whatever you want to do, and I'm glad to help, like in however I can, even if that's tutoring. Um, Now let's look at what's going on here, man. So we measured from the Dayton VOR, right? We're on a 130 radial from Dayton. We determined from the navigator, like on that and the top corner there, that the straight line from Dayton VOR to our first checkpoint, Wright Patterson, um, was on a 130 radial. So we turned on a downwind, we intercepted it. You can see in the top corner there we're on the 130 radial. The next thing to do is to climb, do our climb check, do our altitude callouts, and level off at 5005, and just keep an eye out for the airport beneath us, and wait for that radial to come in, and then go from there. I'm gonna pull up the nav log actually, so we can keep an eye on. Should be not you want to, the thing about dead reckoning is you want to keep an eye on where we are, how long we have to a certain place. And so up at the top there, I don't know if you can see. I think it's probably not that big of a pain. I mean, my screen is a little bit smaller. Can you see the times and stuff, or is that text really small?
um,
Can you see that we've got about
I
8 minutes left? or I'm sorry, we have 5 minutes and 30 seconds remaining.
I can barely see it.
Okay, let me see here.
It's fine. Like I said, I mean, I can
Right.
see like which column is the
It's
time? Oh, the
in
ETA
the
at the end.
under
It's
the
at the last column.
remaining. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Under the remaining,
Yeah,
it should. Let's see here.
yeah, 5 minutes 24 seconds. The first one,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. There we go. 23. So yeah, we've got 5 minutes left, and so the question is you know, one of the principles for utilizing this VOR, like we were saying, was the second rule was same side safe. That's another really like important one where even though we're tracking VOR one and it's looking really good, are we same side safe? In fact, I'm gonna put this away right now. Are we same side safe for the next checkpoint? You know, because we would have that nav log out and we would be flying that compass heading, no problem. Um, Same side safe is if the heading is on the same side as on the deflected needle, then you're safe. Vox, I used it for the first time a few days ago practicing on six pack, dude, and it worked out. I'm assuming. It sounds like you were jazzed about that. We are same side safe, right? 120 is on this on the right here. It's right here. 120. Vox, I'm proud of you, man. That's awesome. Now we are also not. Oh, we're flying a 120. We should be on a 130. My bad. I'm flying the magenta line over here on my navigator, so I'm gonna fly this intercept heading, which is this little angle right here, this 150, and we're gonna see that needle coming in. Here we are, 4,000, and we are still barely just coming up to the edge of the Charlie. We are well above the airspace. Cessna 172 Sierra Papa, frequency change approved. And what is this? This is Columbus departure. Cessna 172 Sierra Papa is 4,300, climbing 5,500. And they're going to say Cessna 172 Sierra Papa radar contacts and resume on resume on navigation, and altitude is your discretion. 172 Sierra Papa. So there we are. We have that nice and crossed up. We have the airport off to our 1 o'clock there. We can see it clear as day. We suspect that that's the airport. And we have the VOR to help us confirm. We also have our dead reckoning to help us confirm. In fact, I'm going to move that to 130. There we go. We climb check. We've got temperature down here, temperature, pressure, vacuum, electrical, EGT. There we go. Mixture is leaned. And altimeter is set, and transponder set to altitude. Mixture and trim and fuel is set on both. So climb check complete. Cruise to go. 500 feet to go. We're starting to have that VOR2 respond. This is when actually we would test VOR1 and VOR2, make sure that we've got that Morse code. So like if we are trying to listen to that first VOR, what was that, Midwest, we want to make sure that we bring in, if we're going to test the nav2, right, we're going to press nav2, and then we would listen for the Morse code, that dee 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 dee. So yeah, we listen to the whole thing. Looks good. We're on that 130 using our pilotage. We kind of like lean over and see this airport down here. We see two long parallels. Oh, you know what? We should be a 5005. My bad. So let's go ahead and pitch down. Get that cruise speed going. We're over the airport. And let's see here. We're going to make our turn. And, I mean, it wasn't like a perfect measurement, but yeah, we essentially have that needle coming in and verifying that we're on a 320. So now what I want to do is fly a magnetic course. Let's see about putting the chart back up. The magnetic course from FFO, it just switched over right there. We should be flying a heading of 101. Heading of 101. All right, so there's our there's basically 100. Looks good. And there's that center needle actually eventually came in. So let's see here. The rest is on us. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to re-intercept that magenta line. And this is when I would fly, you know, the nav log that's saying a 101. So I'm going to get back on that magenta line right there. Of course, in real life, like what you would do is set the GPS. You would actually like put those points in the GPS just as you're doing with the tablet, but that's all good. So right now we're gonna fly this 100 heading. Very cool. And then the question is what's our new cross radial for VOR number 2? For VOR number 2, I'm just going to trim this airplane out. Very, very stable. This is awesome. God, this feels so much better. All right. For VOR 2, it looks like it's that actually that blue. No, it's not that blue line. Get that trim going. Okay. It is right there. That appears to be a... Oh, that's right. We were saying that's a 360 or like a, you know, a north essentially. So let's do that. Let's put north in there. In number 2. And flying this route, what we're looking for is, first of all, we're same side safe. And then we, along this route, when we are right overhead that airport, that needle should be actually directly centered, because that actually was a well-measured radial. So we're utilizing VOR2. We've tested, it's the same VOR that we tested to make sure that, you know, it's Midwest. We tested it already with the Morse code. I'm just purposefully like flying kind of like off center so we can see the airport off to our left. You know, it's tough to see it with the nose in the way and everything. Let me see if I could actually turn the volume down here and then go to the mixer. There we go. All right, cool. So starting off with a little bit of tracking and intercepting from Dayton, and now it's like resume on navigation. It's like pilotage, dead reckoning, using the VOR as a reference, a cross radio reference. There you go. Excellent. Cool, we're crossing over and there's that centered needle. That cross radio was really nice. Next point is Abilene, Madison County. That's the next airport up there on the top, and that magenta line just sequenced the next thing. Not a whole lot of pilotage out here other than airports, so that's what we're trying to use to our advantage right now. The VOR that we said we're using is Yellow Bud 112.5. We had that ready to go. Switch. And 112.5, we would go nav 2 and select that to listen to that Morse code. And that see here. Oh, here we go. That looks like a 320 from Yellow Bud. So let's go ahead and put 320 in there. Pretty nice. Sweet. Very cool. Very cool. And then after this next checkpoint, we're going to get lost. And then we're going to actually divert. Since that's ultimately what the plan was for tonight. So we just keep taking a look outside. You know, we got our cruise check done. Dude, anything planned after this flight? Well, I'm thinking... Dude, you know, I've been playing some like Dishonored 2 lately. I think some Dishonored 2. Not on Steam though, on PS4. Then again, maybe dude, I need to do another scary video game night. If it wasn't so late and if I didn't have work tomorrow, I would I'd say we should get into some scary video games. But yeah, I was gonna hit the hay and play some Dishonored 4 in bed or something like that. How about yourself? Let's see here. Fox, you're gonna head off almost 2:30 a.m. Man, 2:30 popped in to say hi, dude. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time, and I'm really glad that the same side safe roll worked out for you in the actual flight. It's a great tool, man. It's a really, really great tool. Super useful, and it's definitely the way to go. Oh, you got the day off, dude. That's cool. Yeah, dude, Friday, man. Friday. What's up? How are you going to spend your day off? Actually,
or something like that. I don't think my daughter doesn't have school on Friday or Monday. It's a 4-day weekend.
No way, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know why, but
No,
So she's
no,
got a 4-day weekend.
no school Friday or Monday. Wicked.
Yeah.
What are you guys gonna do? What are you guys gonna get into this weekend?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Physical
Do you,
therapy.
do you guys? Yeah. Well, I mean, like for example, like do you guys like do any like scary stuff like out where you're at? Like I know like next weekend, my girlfriend and I we're gonna do a date out to Hollywood Horror Nights. You know, they do like all the mazes and stuff. Um, or maybe like any like haunted houses or anything like in your neck of the woods.
Oh, this is Kentucky. Nothing but corn mazes and
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I figured that's
like
true. That's awesome.
a lot of farmland out this way. So yeah, a lot
Gotcha.
of that kind of stuff. And then like I'm only I'm in Kentucky, but it only take me like 15 minutes to get to like downtown Cincinnati.
Mm.
So, and Cincinnati has like I don't know, supposedly some top rated scare house, like not for kids type stuff.
Oh, dude, no way.
Where they have
Yeah.
like guys with real chainsaws and stuff. Like,
Yeah,
but,
some of those things they are not playing around, man. The chainsaws definitely get me, dude. Like they'll take the blades off, but just like the noise of the roaring, I'm just like, oh my god, and sliding on the ground and freaking. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about scary stuff, dude. I've always loved scary stuff like my whole life. Yeah. Zach,
Windex knows
yeah,
about King Island.
yeah. What's King's Island? And first of all,
So-
what is it? And then Zach, I got to know how the hell you know about that. But go ahead.
So he must live up in Ohio. Kings Island is an amusement park, and it's about 45 minutes north of me.
Yeah.
And they do a big Halloween scare houses, and they got people dressed up in costume. And,
Dude.
yeah, it's a big amusement park, roller coasters and stuff. It's got like one of only 5 or 10 giga coasters in like America or something like that.
What's a giga coaster?
They're like the biggest, baddest roller coasters on the planet, I guess. They call them giga coasters.
Holy moly, dude. That sounds intimidating. Yeah, that sounds like super crazy, man. But that's awesome, man. Yeah, I love the scary like theme park kind of stuff. Like when they actually when they go crazy. That's pretty rad. Yeah, Zach, he says no, but he went there like 8 years ago on a road trip. Super fun park. Yeah, Zach's up in Wyoming actually. He's in like the Jackson Hole,
nice.
Wyoming area, and yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. You said corn mazes. Do you play any scary video games?
I mean, mostly. Well, now pretty much all I do is Flight Simulator since it came out. But when I was
Yeah.
streaming and stuff before that, I did mostly like survival games, post-apocalyptic, like
Ooh.
DayZ and Miscreated and Scum and.
Like any like Fallout?
I never really got into Fallout.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's right up your alley then. But you were saying corn mazes, and it made me think of Outlast 2 is one of the games I want to play. It's like a scary video game, and the premise is like you're a cameraman and your wife is a reporter. You guys crash. You survive. You narrowly survive a helicopter crash, and this community of like inbred mutants in a nearby commune, like a cult commune, find you and they take her. DJ Aviator rating with a party of 6. Thank you so much, dude. It's good to see you, DJ. The Auto Meme, thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome. Party of DJ Aviators. Hello, hello. Welcome. Yeah, you guys, we're in the 172. We are. You can see ForeFlight up in the top there. We're utilizing pilotage and a little bit of Dead Reckoning up in the top there. But the main lesson tonight is the the use of VORs to navigate, and then right now we're actually going to get ourselves lost and find out where we are using VORs. And we're not going to cheat and use the GPS. We're going to find ourselves, we're going to go through lost procedures, and then we're going to go through the diversion procedure, and how we're actually going to get to a place where, you know, maybe we need an immediate diversion or something like that. So there goes our airport off to our left wingtip, by the way, with our VOR2 cross reference, our cross radial reference, and there's the airport right there. That's pretty nice. So yeah, you can see there that, oh yeah, and really quick to finish this thought. So that video game, it takes place in like the backwoods, dude, and like cornfields. These people, they're trying to chase you down, and you could see the flashlight, like the lights coming out of the through the cornfields. It's just like the creepiest thing ever. And you're being like hunted down. Yeah, Outlast too. But yeah, so we're gonna put that chart away. And we're going to get ourselves lost, all turned around. And I have no idea where we are. I'm going to get rid of that frequency. Oops. And this is like if we were pointed this way and we were like, you know, we should have come across a checkpoint, especially out here with it being like all flat and everything. We should have come across a checkpoint, you know, a long time ago, and maybe we didn't. And it's like, okay, how do I know where I am? I'm looking around. There's like not a lot of pilotage spots. And so we go to our chart. We know that generally speaking, we were on our way from Dayton to Proto Man. What's going on? Dayton to Columbus. So then we would get out that chart. And let me actually get out my thing here. That was our proposed route. And so what do we have? We have Yellow Bud near us, 112.5. So I'm going to put that in. First thing I'm going to do is enter a gentle bank. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to trim the airplane out. And I'm going to enter a gentle bank so that we don't go too far, so we don't stray. I'm going to put in 112.5. I'm going to watch my speed. I'm going to watch out for traffic. That looks pretty good. So 112.5 was one of them. It doesn't matter which one, because we're not over here trying to track or anything. We're really just trying to get a sense of where we are. So 112.5. Trim a little bit more here. There we go. 112.5, and I have no idea where I am. So what I want to do is find this. It's a centered needle with a from indication. There's the from indication, but we need a centered needle, and the centered needle with a from indication will tell us what radial we're actually on. Cool. There's that right there. And then, careful, we don't want to be overbanking. And then we go back to Sky Vector and we see what's the other VOR that's around us. I think, oh, this one's pretty good. What is it? Appleton, 116.7. 116.7. Okay. 116. 0.7. Awesome. We're going to load that in. And again, we want a centered needle with a from indication. There it is, right there. So we are roughly... This thing does not want to stay trimmed out here. There we go. So where are we at? We're on the 320 radial from, let's see here. No, hold on, sorry. 112. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Exactly. 112.5. So we're on the 320 from Yellow Bud. Let me just, like, make the plane a little more stable here before we leave. All right. So from from Yellow Bud, we're on the 320. So we would take this chart right here. We're gonna get rid of this flight plan. Okay, cool. And totally get rid of that. Now we're using Yellow Bud 320. Oh, you know what? My bad. There we go. Yeah, 320 is right. Let's see, 35432. Let me actually hop on here and just make sure. There we go. Notice those needles are still centered. I'm just trying to... This sim is a little less than perfect here. Plus, I gotta kind of leave. There we go. Perfect. All right, nice. All right. So a 320, right? There we go. We're somewhere on that line right there. Somewhere into infinity on that magenta line. And then what else are we on? We're on a 320 from that VOR and essentially a 240 from what was that other one that we used? Just north Appleton, just north east of Columbus. Nice. What did we say? Sorry. 320 from that one. No, excuse me. 240. 240 from here. Boom, right there. Oh, that's pretty cool. Dude, we are right there. We're right there. We should actually be right near we should be right near Wilmington. We should be near an airport. Are we right above an airport? No. Whoa. Let's see here. 320, right? 320 from 112.5. Oh no, excuse me, not 112.5. That is from Appleton is 116.7. Where the hell did I? No. Oh, I'm tripping, dude. I'm tripping. So we are 240 from Appleton. Yeah, okay. Sorry, dude. 240 from Appleton. Appleton's right there. And Yellow Bud, dude. My problem is I wasn't using Yellow Bud, man. This is Yellow Bud right here. This is Yellow Bud. So we should be somewhere right around here, actually. We should be somewhere right around here. We should have the an airport off to our north, to the north of our position, which is what would that be? Darby Dan. X-plane is not the easiest thing. Let's see here. Yeah, there's Darby Dan right there. Okay, so we're right there. And the question is where can we divert to? If we are essentially right here, right? Here's that 240 from Appleton and that 320 from Yellowbud. We're right there. We're going to divert to Union. So let's go use Yellowbud and divert to Union, just like that. That is a, what is that? That looks like a 3-1, 2, 3, 4, a 3-4 radial. Sorry for the black, I was on the wrong thing. So a 3-4-0 from Yellowbud. A 3-4-0 from Yellowbud ought to get us there. So I've dialed in Yellowbud right here. 340. Let's go ahead and stay at 6,000. 340 is dialed in. I'm going to turn to heading that intercepts this 340. We were talking about intercepting and tracking last night in the VOR ground. So we're really just putting it to work tonight. Flying on a heading of same side safe, so making sure that our heading is on the same side as the deflected needle. And I'm going to do a 270. 270 should intercept that no problem. Let's see here. Yellowbud should be 112.5. And I want a 320 from the station. Now, actually, no. Is that 320? I just want to make sure. Yeah, Yellowbud. Oh, no, that's not 320. 340, excuse me. 340. That makes way more sense. There's 340. We actually need to turn this way to a 030. From Yellowbud, we're tracking from it. So what we want to do is we said that a diversion, we found where we were, and then we said that the airport that we want to divert to is on a magnetic of 340 from the Yellowbud VOR. So what I'm going to do right now is fly an intercept to join that 340 radial, and that's why I'm flying this kind of like harsh angle right here to kind of get right to the it's like a 90-degree intercept right now, because we're very far from the VOR. We remember yesterday where it's like very far from the VOR, you were it's not sensitive at all. So I'm going to fly this intercept since I was kind of like off track there. Once I start seeing that needle come in, I'm going to shallow out that angle and get more of like a 45-degree intercept. But you can see here, like, we're on a 06. Actually, checking our heading indicator and our compass, we should be... I have precession active in here. There we go. There's that 060 right there. You can see here that 060 is like almost in that 90-degree position, same side safe for VOR1. We should have an airport actually off to our 2 o'clock.
Destination ATIS is 124.
Oh my God, shut up, dude. Oh, oops. Yeah, there's our airport right there. There's that airport. I'm looking on a chart. Airport off to our 2 o'clock. We are, you know, you want to, once you've found your position and you're kind of on a, oh, here we go. We should get a 45-degree angle going. We have our radial coming in. I'm going to turn to like a 040. to bring that in nice and slow. Actually, it's like so slow, it doesn't really matter. So we've got the magnetic heading, and we are right over the. We know that we're right over this airport. Here, let me actually show you right here. We know that we're right over this airport right here. So the question is what's the distance from this airport to our diversion airport? It's 18 miles. So, how much fuel is that going to take? I hope my E6B works. Wait, where's my E6B? Cool. And it isn't right now. Yay, I love it when it doesn't work. I'm going to try and restart my tablet. Zach, you said if you were tracking 2 yellow bud, would you be reverse sensing? You would, but same side safe would help you with that reverse sensing. So like, let's say that, I'm going to turn actually to intercept that 340. So let's say that if you had 160 selected, right? If you had 160 selected, you know, you'd be tempted to turn to the right now, but you would be incorrect, right? If you turn to the right to go intercept that course, you would be going further and further away from the desired course. So I guess that is reverse sensing, but same side safe, you know, it wouldn't make sense. Same side safe, it wouldn't make sense. Like if you were turning here to turning to the right, like let's say you turn to the right to the north or 030, the needle, you would not be same side safe, right? The way that needle was deflected, if you turn to the right to go grab that needle, you wouldn't be same side safe, and then something would alert you. You're like, oh, wait a minute, you know. So that's why if we're gonna track, it needs to be something similar to our heading, and that's why, you know, we're flying like a 340 selected. It's all good. Now, we were over that. Let me actually get out of this. I'm gonna try and reload the tablet here now that I have my E6B up. All right. So we found out where we were. We picked a diversion airport. We found the magnetic course. We turned to that course, and we said that we had 18 miles to go to get to where we needed to be. The question is how long is that going to take? We have a ground speed of 115 knots. You know, or yeah, we're just over 110 knots. We actually have a true airspeed of 110. That's our ground speed right there is 110, 115. We have no wind in there, so we're just going off of true airspeed right now. And if you have something like that, that is when you would actually, that's super useful. You know, it's kind of pointless. I mean, it's not pointless to use an indicated airspeed, but it is way better if you can use, you know, if you have something that's giving you a true airspeed, or in this case a ground speed. That's the way to go. So if you're doing 100, oh wait, let me get back on track. You said if you had a second VOR at your diversion airport, you'd be having it on nav 2 and tracking it too. Dude, if I had a VOR at my diversion airport, it'd be on nav 1 and I'd just be tracking to it. The way that we're going to do this is we're going to take our E6B out, And again, we're doing 120. We said 117 knots, so we're gonna set that black arrow to 117 knots right there. There we go, 117 knots. And right, this is 110. That's 120. And let me actually see where we're at. Because I want to make sure that, you know, we're that airport, it looks like, just really quick, I want to be using Appleton as my cross radial. So where are we with respect to Appleton? We're definitely to the west. We're on a 270 radial from Appleton. You see that? That 270 from is selected. So going to this 270 is right there. It's essentially right there. We have 7 miles to go. So if we have 7 miles to go, we should do that 7 miles in 3.5 minutes. See, that 7.0 is opposite of 35. The quantity, the distance is on the outside and the time is on the inside. So 3.5 minutes from now, we should do that. We should get there at 11:50 my time, at 10 to the hour. So let's keep an eye on that. And the other thing that I want to know is what cross radial is the airport on. I think I have it in sight, actually. Going to the chart, this is on the 2728 283. 283 is the cross radial. So what I'm going to do is just watch my position. There it is right there, actually. So we effectively tracked from the sorry. Yeah, we effectively tracked from the Yellowbud VOR, picked a magnetic course from the Yellowbud VOR, intercepted it, tracked it outbound, and determined, based on where we were, we kind of suspected where we were. We looked outside. We saw on the chart where, based on where we suspected we were, we saw that there should be an airport off to our right-hand side. There was actually off to our 2 o'clock, right where we thought it was. We continue to track outbound. Now that we confirmed that we know where we were, tracking outbound and using cross radials from what was that? Appleton to help us find this diversion airport. You know, it's really useful when you're out here and it's all flat and not a lot of references. Using these cross radials, we're coming up to our 283 right here. 283 is set on VOR number 2. That's our airport right there for sure. Now looking at that airport at Union, that's showing left traffic. Oh, there's a right pattern that we would want to research. You know, if we're able to, we would use our tablet or whatever to pull up the chart supplement. But Union is 1,000 feet above the ground, so I'm going to descend on, and of course the correct way to enter the pattern is 45-degree downwind. So now that we have the airport identified right there, I'm going to come around, I'm going to descend, and I'm going to enter the 45 downwind this way. I'm going to come around. Whoa, sorry. I'm going to come around, and there's the 45 downwind right there. We're 3,005 for 2,000. And this is when we would say Union traffic, Cessna 172 Sierra Papa is downwind, runway 2, what is that? Runway 26. That'll be runway 26. You know, we would call them on the CTAF nice and early, 10 miles out. Yeah, this is 1,000 feet field elevation. So we're taking it to 1,000 feet above field elevation for the TPA. We're entering on this 45 left traffic, runway 26, Union traffic. Nice. Sweet. All right. Union traffic. Cessna 172 Sierra Papa is downwind, turning base for runway 26. Union traffic, Cessna 172 Sierra Papa on base runway 26, full stop. And clear final out there, flaps 2. Union traffic, Cessna 172 Sierra Papa, final runway 26.
500.
Oh my god. How do you, I gotta, somebody help me turn that voice off. That would be awesome. It's gotta be in the settings or something. She just like yells at me every time. And I don't deserve to be yelled at.
That's Pilot Edge, right?
No, that's ForeFlight, man.
Or Vor Flight?
Yeah,
Sorry, that's what I
ForeFlight.
meant to say.
Yeah, she yells at me all the time. Great runway shape. Nice. We'll exit here at looks like Echo. So, yeah, it definitely did not go according to plan, like with the having to manage like the tablet and everything like that. But basically, what we did was first we put together a flight plan from let's see here. Let's go to the just to recap. Oh, actually, here we go. Yeah, there we go. And then flip this guy around. All right, nice. This was our original plan. And I'm gonna, there we go. the original plan was to go from Dayton using pilotage from airport to airport to this class Charlie right here at Columbus. And the original plan was to utilize a combination of pilotage and dead reckoning and VOR work to get us where we needed to go, with the focus being on VORs. So since the focus was on VORs, we decided to do a left downwind departure out of Dayton and catch a radial to track from Dayton, VOR right there in the top left, to our first point, which was on a looks like it was a 130 that we tracked to Wright Patterson. And the reason why we strung this around the way we did from Wright Patterson to Springfield, from Springfield to Abeam, Madison, and then from Madison to Bolton. These are airports along the way, so it's kind of nice to have a route where your checkpoints are airports. They're easily recognized, especially in an area like this where there's like nothing around. Airports are really nice, and plus if there's a backup plan, you could easily divert to any of these airports. They're points along the way. After we tracked outbound from Dayton, and we verified that we were at Wright Patterson from a pilotage standpoint, because these runways were very broad, very like long. There were parallels. Like, we definitely identified that this was the airport. We wanted to back that up with a cross radial. Now that we had actually tracked from Dayton to the point of interest, we wanted a cross radial from this VOR right here. Right, we used Midwest, setting it to the what was that? The 340. We used Midwest to and the 340 radial from Midwest to on VOR number 2 to verify that was the suspected point, and it was. Once we confirmed that first spot had been reached, we're over here at the cruise, in the cruise phase of flight. We did our cruise checklist. We're up at altitude, no problem. We went to our dead reckoning, and we charted the rest of the course using dead reckoning on a magnetic right there from FFO to KSGH on a heading of a 100 magnetic. You could see right there 100 magnetic on the HDG, the heading column. We flew a 100 magnetic and wanted to use the same VOR, this Midwest VOR, for these cross radials, this cross radial right there. That was that 360 that we decided to input right there. So it's like a 002 magnetic. It's essentially 360, or like north. So we kept the same VOR. We turned to the course that our dead reckoning told us to, that we calculated. 100 magnetic. We're flying direct from FFO to SGH, and utilizing that north from the Midwest VOR as a cross radial to make sure that we were over Springfield, and we were. We used that effectively. We kind of off-centered the course so that way we could see the airport off to our left. It's a good practice. You don't want to fly directly over something because the nose is probably going to be in the way. So we deliberately flew off-center, determined that we were Abeam Springfield, and that was all good. We then went from Springfield, continuing our dead reckoning, to Abeam, Madison County. That was actually kind of hard to see because I'm sure in real life it'd be a lot easier. You know, X-Plane isn't the most like, you know, fabulous looking like sim, but it's not that bad though. We used a different VOR. We used Yellowbud. We used that crossrailer right there from Yellowbud to our point of interest right there. We saw there was a 320 from Yellowbud. Centered needle. At that point, we should have an airport off to our left wingtip, and we did. So that was great. We're switching VORs. We were ready for that. We had that VOR on a standby number 2, knowing that we were going to use that for cross radios later. After that point, we deliberately got ourselves lost. Didn't actually take much because everything looks kind of the same out there. So we just took a right. We kind of climbed. We descended. We were kind of all over the place. And where are we at? Okay. So we put ourselves in a 360 bank, in a nice gentle 360. And utilizing Yellowbud and Appleton, right? We knew generally where we were supposed to be, right? From our dead reckoning, we weren't like 100 miles away, right? So since we knew generally where we were supposed to be, we know generally what VORs are available to us. So just arbitrarily, I picked Appleton because they're kind of at a nice right. They're at a nice like right angle to each other, so you can get some really effective like cross radials using the two of them. In our 360, we identified both VORs, but also that we were on what was it, like the 240 from Appleton. We were on the 240 from Appleton, which was that line right there. Right? We were on that line right there. And we were on the 32 or the 340, I think it was, or 320. I think it was the 3. It was like the 340, I believe. From Yellowbud. So right where those lines intersect, the 340 and the 240 from the 340 from Yellowbud and the 240 from Appleton. Right there, we would draw that with a pencil, or we would draw that with a pen, or we would cross them up just using a pen. We can just lay that on each other, and where those lines intersect, generally speaking, we're right there. We determined where we were at, and that we should have an airport to our north. We looked to the north. We saw Darby Dan right there. That Darby Dan airport. So we suspected that we were in a certain place based on where the VORs were telling us. If we're there, then we should see an airport off to the side, and we did. So now that we know exactly where we are and what type of airspace we're around, we picked an airport to divert to. And arbitrarily, we picked Union because we picked that ahead of time because that allowed us to continue the spirit of the VOR lesson using VORs by tracking outbound from Yellowbud direct to Union, which is pretty nice because there's not like, we could follow a freeway or we can follow, airports that are up along a route. Like really, that's all we got, So we charted a course from, we said, okay, what's our magnetic course from Yellowbud to Union, and that was like roughly a 340. So what we did is we turned to a heading we programmed in 340 from Yellowbud on VOR1, which is the VOR that we use for tracking and intercepting. We turned to intercept that line, that 340 from Yellowbud, and we just follow that 340 all the way up. Now that we are on a course to our alternate, the question is how far away are we? How much time is it going to take? And how much fuel are we going to burn? And so admittedly, one of the things I didn't calculate was how much fuel it's going to take. But what we did do is we calculated based on where we were that that was 18 miles away from Union. Remember we were abeam we were abeam Darby Dan. We saw that, we looked outside, and we actually verified that that was outside. So Darby Dan is, we said, is 18 miles from Union, right? See that? It's 18 miles. So really what you would do is you would go to your E6B and you'd say, okay, if there we go. If I'm doing 117 knots, that's 110 right there, and this is 120. So there's 117 knots true. If I'm doing 117 knots and I'm 18 miles away, it's going to take 18 as the quantity on the outside. The quantities are on the outside and the time in minutes are always on the inside. So after we've lined up the speed using the index, this black triangle right there, that index on 17, we go to 18 miles. It's going to take us about 9 minutes to get there. So the question is how much fuel do we need to fly for 9 minutes? And it's like, we have the fuel, you know what I mean? So, but the thing is we really should have gone through the procedure to calculate that. In this airplane, we do about 9 gallons an hour. So I'm going to set that rate right there to 9. That 90 is 9.0 as well. 9 gallons an hour. And we said that we're gonna be en route for 9 minutes, right? So we find the 9 on the inside right there. There's 9.0 right there. It's going to use about 1.4 gallons. Yeah, exactly, Brick. It's 1.35. I round up on the fuel, 1.4 gallons. To me, I was like futzing with the tablet and like going back and forth between, because I don't have 3 screens, so going back and forth between the chart. Like normally you'd be like having the chart and you'd still be looking outside. You'd have the chart looking outside. It wasn't super perfect. I didn't think I was trying to not use autopilot, but I could have definitely used that. But nonetheless, you would that's what you would do. You found the magnetic course. You turn to that course. Now for us, it was a course that we wanted to track something. And not only did we track something to Union, but we used Appleton. We were already tuned into Appleton. So we used cross radials from Appleton to know where the airport should have been. Because it's one thing to track up north on a 340 from Yellow Bud, but it's like, how far away is the airport, right? Well, we know that it's going to be, what did we say actually? We know that it was going to be 9 minutes, right, to go 18 miles. And that over those 9 minutes, we're going to do a gallon and just shy of a gallon and a half. But I really want to know, like, navigationally speaking, instead of just keeping track of time, like, I want to put in a cross radial to prompt me to know when I have gone too far. And that cross radial was a very important one from Appleton, where I believe it was like 280, I think it was. That cross radial was really invaluable. In a place like this where there's not a lot of visual references, you need those cross radials so that you know how far is too far, and because you definitely don't want to make the same mistake twice and keep flying out. So yeah, should have taken the fuel calculation right there, but that's the way that we would have done it. We did everything else, right? We found out where we were using the triangulation, the VOR triangulation, found the diversion. We confirmed it by looking with pilotage outside, found the diversion airport, found the magnetic magnetic course, turned to intercept that radial, tracked outbound, got the cross radials to keep track of where we were on that outbound course, found the airport, made the radio calls to enter the traffic on the traffic pattern on the 45 downwind, and that was actually an effective diversion, you know. So really great lesson today. It was my first time like teaching this like streaming with all these different tools, so you know, next time will be like a little more thorough, little bit better, a little more smooth and stuff. But I really appreciate you hanging in there with me. And yeah, you guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. So thank you for tuning in. And let's see here. For tomorrow, actually, I have a 2 p.m. is a ACS navigation. So I will be on here at 2 p.m. Zach, you have a good night as well, man. I'll see you next stream, and yeah, enjoy your day off. And yeah, I'll be back here on tomorrow at 2 for ACS. And Brick, thanks again for meeting up in the Discord on the voice and vocalizing you know, your the stuff that you're going through with your VOR. I know that tonight was kind of like a lot. It was a lot of different things, a little bit of, you know, a couple of hiccups and stuff, but you know, it's in your area and you tried this flight. I hope that the flight plan made sense and that the VOR, the usage, all the different uses of the VOR made sense.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. So yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks again, and have a good night, man. See ya.